safe, your banks are safe, there's enough cash in the financial system, and there is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve, an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve,
an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve.
Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love. Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love. You want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love. You want somebody to love?
Don't you want somebody? You guys remember this?
your ATM is safe, your banks are safe, there's enough cash in the financial system, and there is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve, an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve,
An infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve.
Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love. Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love. You want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love. You want somebody to love?
Don't you want somebody? You guys remember this?
your ATM is safe, your banks are safe, there's enough cash in the financial system, and there is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve, an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve,
An infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve.
Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love. Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love. You want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love. You want somebody to love?
Don't you want somebody? You guys remember this?
your ATM is safe, your banks are safe, there's enough cash in the financial system, and there is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve, an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve,
An infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve.
Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love. Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love. You want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love. You want somebody to love?
Don't you want somebody? You guys remember this?
your ATM is safe, your banks are safe, there's enough cash in the financial system, and there is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve, an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve,
An infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve.
Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love. Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love. You want somebody to love?
you want love? Don't you want somebody to love? What's up, guys? It is Thursday, April 3rd, 2025. We're at the Bitcoin block height of 890,772. TikTok, next block. Hope everybody's doing well. It's kind of chilly here in Las Vegas. Welcome, everybody. We got Capital Currency. What's up, my brother? How are you? Haven't seen you on here. Appreciate you coming in. Corey from Got Sats did a great video today. I'll be talking about that in a little bit. Also, the Bitcoin Gospel, Mia, she did a great video today too. Hey, love that song. Kicking out the jams, yes. Making me want to hop on the ones and twos, yes. Neo, Jerry the GOAT. Nah, you're the GOAT, bro. You're the GOAT. Sadie, that's what's up. Yes. Corey, yes. Buck 52. Yo, what's up, my brother? Monique, hello. Monique, I have to give you that money, those sats. So later on, I want you to drop your address in the description. Hold on, Buck, or in the chat. 52. Monique. I'm gonna change my format a little bit today. Somebody's texting me. Hold on. Yeah, and I am not going to give out sats right at the outset. I'm gonna wait to the end because it's taken a pretty long time. You know what I mean? Hello, Monique. Hey, Monique. Neo, Jerry, rumor is that Donald Trump is restructuring the economy around a gold-backed currency. I haven't heard that. I hope he does it around a Bitcoin standard. My goal is one sat per dollar. That's what I want, and then move the decimal point back twice for the sats. So that way we can have 100 little units in every sat, and then we'll be good. So let's see the Bitcoin block height. Let's see where we're at. So I'm going to write these down. So we're at 773, 774, 775, 776, 777. I'm going to wait for a couple of more people to get in because today, guys, as you can see from the title, there goes Zach. What's up, Zach? Let me put you on the list, my friend. I sent Zach a message on Signal. Appreciate you coming in, brother. Neo. Trump's treasury is a huge gold bug. Yes, they are. They are. I runs New York. Vegas, what's up? What's up, New York? How are you, sir? I runs New York. I think I might know who this is. I think. Yeah, Scott Bissett. Yeah. He loves gold for sure. Yeah. But anyways, as you guys can see from the title, the best Bitcoin explanation ever. We're gonna break down a video that I love. You know what I mean? I love, and yeah, it's a good one. It shaped a lot of the way I think about Bitcoin. A lot of things that you hear me saying throughout my videos and on my lives and stuff like that. It's been shaped from this video. It really has. Click the like. Sharper than Shore. What's up, brother? Thank you, man. My wallet is Monique28 in Speed app. Thanks for reminding me, Jerry. No problem, Monique. No problem. If anybody wants to hook up Monique, because she's just starting into Bitcoin, she doesn't have any yet. We can do that. So let me send that right now. So let me send you something, Monique, because I owe you 100 sats from yesterday. But I'll send them after the show. By the way, one more time, I'm not going to be sending any sats during the show anymore because it's taking way too long. I'm just going to write everything down and then I'm going to send them after the show. Okay, Neo, that's why I think we should keep a certain percentage in precious metals. Absolutely. Well, I'll get in that a second. Sharper than Sore. Hope you are all well. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Well, when we watch this video today, and it's going to be 3 parts we're going to watch, you may change your mind about that, but I don't know. This is part of our studying, so we'll see. Precious metals will still do great. Yes, they will do great, but long term, they won't do anything when it comes to Bitcoin. I'm just saying. And again, I'm a former gold silver bug, so let's get our spin on real quick. Sharper than sword. Let's see. I'll put you on here. And then, yeah. The Bitcoin guys, I don't have the speed app. I need to get it so I can send Monique some data. Okay. Hey Megan, how are you? Good evening, friends. Good evening, Megan. Thanks for coming in. Uh Here, Mia. Let me put this in the Mia, matter of fact, go hold on, let me see. Because I have the link to it and you'll get 500 free sats too for signing up with the speed app. I know Mia personally, so I'm gonna send it to her real quick. Um and then you download it and then, put your name as, Bitcoin Gospel or whatever you want to do. Mia. And speaking of Mia, real quick, Mia made a video today. We're gonna take a look at it, and so did Corey. Real quick. Oh, I know what you meant to say. Sin, what's up, my brother? Thanks for coming in. Let me put you on here. Put Maggie on here first. Sin. Guys, we have an incredible video today. Incredible video. Good afternoon, everyone. Yep. No problem. All right, real quick, guys. Well, first, let me start off with God Sats. God Sats, Corey from God Sats, got his over 100,000 Satoshis today. He hit a milestone and he made his video on day number 93, I believe it was. So make sure you guys go and subscribe to Corey from God Sats. Let me put it right here in the chat. I think I know what part of New York he's from. I think I know who that is. So there's a link to Corey's video. Make sure you subscribe and check him out. And um, hold on one second. Let me pull up. Try to do something live when everybody's waiting on you. It ain't easy, and I ain't making it look easy either. Mia made a video today. She made her comeback. So make sure you guys go and subscribe to the Bitcoin Gospel. And I'm going to play a little bit of it real quick. This is her today.
Gospel and from upstate New York. I'm not traveling today. Hi guys, this is Mia coming to you from the Bitcoin Gospel and from upstate New York. I'm not traveling today. As some of you know, I'm a flight attendant for a major airline, and from time to time I go to different locations and we'll make videos. I've decided, and sometimes I don't always go, and I decided that whether I go somewhere or not, I'm still going to make some videos. So I apologize for not being so consistent. I'm going to try to make a video every day or every other day.
You're not going to try, you will. She'll do it. So make sure you check her out. I put it in the link in the description box. Great channel, great woman, great lady. That's my sister from another mister. Turn it up, Jerry. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's as loud as it goes, man. Sorry, bro. Congrats, Corey, and thanks, Mia. I really appreciate it. So yeah, so Mia, I sent you that. So download that and then start your name. All right, so we're gonna do a spin real quick. Do I have everybody's name here? Let me know. Do I have your name there? My son is in. Yep, sure is. All right, I'm gonna spin it. Am I missing anybody? No problem. No problem. No problem, Mia. Thank you for making the video. Neo, I think I got everybody. All right, let's spin it. If I miss anybody, I miss anybody. Let's do it. This is for block height number 890,773. Let's do it. Good luck, everybody. I runs New York. I runs New York. All right, my brother. You win it. Congratulations. Oh, nice. My sister lives in L. Nice. From Rochester too. Yes, yes. I runs New York. I owe you 100 sats. Okay, you got it now. Good. Cool. Speed. All right. I don't know if you joined late, but I'm giving all sats out tonight after the show because it takes too long to send them. So I'm going to add them all up and give you to you then. So congratulations, brother. All right, let's do it for block height 774. And then we're going to get into the video. Oh, Corey, right there, brother. You're right there. Neo, congratulations, my friend. Neo, you can send me. Do you want to keep them or do you want to donate them or what? If not, let me know. And we are going to queue up this video that's absolutely changed my mind. I mean, changed my life and my mind. When I watched this video originally, I got to say I was really into into precious metals at the time. Fat man, nah 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 nah. That's the troll, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the troll. He says I'm 600 pounds. I don't think I am. Maybe 400. But anyways, I watched this video early 2023, but I think it was shot in December or late November in 2022. And I was probably at that time, I was just under 2 years in, and I was probably 75% precious metals, 70% precious metals, 30%. You lie, good. You a lie, goodbye. And 30% Bitcoin. You know, and I was so into precious metals, and I still love precious metals, but I don't have any anymore. But after I watched this video, it really, really changed me. So it's a 3-part video. We're gonna watch the first part, and I'm gonna give you my commentary in between. We're gonna ask questions and stuff like that. This is how we study, guys. So make sure you get your piece of paper and a pen out, or your phone notes and stuff like that, and we're gonna watch it together. Yes, yeah, I love him, man. He loves me, and I love him. So let's look at part 1 of this.
Needs to be understood here is that the baseline for humanity.
And let's get it started. And I'm going to get out of the way. Let me see. Maybe I can get small like this. Yeah, I can go like this. And then we'll answer questions. If you have any questions, just leave it in the comments. All right. So without further ado, let's get into it.
The first thing that needs to be understood here is that the baseline for humanity is poverty. You know, if you go back to the very beginnings of human civilization, everyone was poor. You know, no one had consistent heat, had consistent housing, or.
Oh, by the way, this is by Luke Broyles. The full video is because I looked at it today, and I edited some stuff out because he was on and in, and some stuff I just edited out, and I broke it up into 3 parts. So we're gonna do all 3 parts. It's about an hour. So and you know these are long live streams, so we'll get through it. But it's really good. But it's Luke Broyles, and you can visit his channel. His link is in the description box. Great video.
Food or anything of that sort. If you had a minor disease, it was basically a death sentence of sorts. And as a function of time, technology has made everything cheaper due to human ingenuity and free markets and the ability to innovate and discover new forms of energy and technology. We've come up with an incredible amount of inventions that have made our lives easier and more prosperous for lower and lower costs. You know, for example, light only gets cheaper and cheaper when you go from fire, the first kind of light that we were able to manipulate, to then going to the candle, into the lamp, and then from there to the primitive light bulbs, and now we have advanced light bulbs, and this will only continue to get better. Light bulbs and our channeling of light will only get more and more efficient. Same thing with energy, same thing with housing, heat, food, water, etc. I should not have to elaborate on this too much. Hopefully you are intelligent enough to observe it in your own life, and I'm sure you are, just how rapidly our lives are able to improve in terms of prosperity and economic survival, because and the point is, this is all because of technology, and that technology as a force makes everything cheaper. Basically, you can think of the average person's life today as being far more prosperous than, say, even a billionaire's 100 or 150 years ago. You know, you have a wide variety of luxuries that they couldn't have even imagined. You have the internet, you have air conditioning, you have more variety of food than all these rich people of the previous generations had. And basically what this comes down to is that the most important factor for determining your prosperity of life is not your nation of origin. It's not even your family or your religion or your belief system that you come from. And obviously these things are very, very important. But the number one determining factor of how prosperous your life is going to be and how long you're going to live is actually what century you're born in. What era are you born in? What is the degree of technology in your society? That is basically the driving force of human history. You can think of human history as basically trending from complete universal poverty to complete and universal prosperity. Humans don't change, humans' brokenness and benefits don't change. It's only the technology that changes. And when we can think of poverty going down, we can also think of prices going down, because the prosperity it takes to climb out of poverty, it becomes less and less expensive over time as technology becomes better. And this has been one of the most incredible trends of the last century or couple centuries here. It's just the rate of destruction of poverty. This is objectively a wonderful thing, and this should make everyone extremely happy and extremely optimistic. A mere 200 years ago, at the turn of the 19th century, 4 out of 5 people, 80% of the human population that was currently alive at that time, was in poverty. And today, it's barely 10% here.
Can you imagine that? And it was like that back then. Most people were poor. It was literally there was no wealth gap in between. It was either the rich, the very, very rich, and everybody else was poor. At least now we have somewhat of a middle class now.
It is just a cliff, a nosedive of poverty over the last 200 years. And this is one of the horrible things where people fear overpopulation and everything like that. And yes, these are problems, but the reality is the global population has boomed in this time, and yet poverty has declined, even though we use so much more energy.
For those of you that are coming in new, make sure you make a comment so I can put your name on the wheel. We're reacting to a video from Luke Broyles. It's called the best Bitcoin explanation ever. This video actually, changed my life and basically gave me a lot of ways that I think about Bitcoin now. It changed me, man. It really did. It made me actually start selling off my precious metals. So this is a great video.
So many more resources and all that. The rate of people being able to live prosperous, long, fulfilling lives continues to go up as we have more humans with more ingenuity, and technology continues to build on itself, and emergent systems continue to stack upon each other, which we'll get to more in just a moment. This is objectively a good thing, and especially if you've lived in the last 30 years or so, it has been the fastest decline in poverty globally. This is a wonderful thing. You can just see this complete free fall here from the 19.
What's up, Clean Your Machine? Thank you, bro. I'm gonna put your name on there.
1975 or so onwards, with the invention of the computer and the internet and globalization, it's just completely collapsed poverty. And this is obviously a good thing. Now, if that's the case, why do prices go up over time? When you look at any picture from 100 years ago or 50 years ago, basically the price of anything and everything, any good, any service, is more expensive today. Our lives are far more prosperous than they ever have been in history, and yet virtually every market is near an all-time high in terms of its price. Why is this the case? This doesn't make any sense if you really think about it. It's inherently a paradox. And that's because...
Jor for the score. What's up, my brother? Let me put your name on the wheel. Real quick, Jor, I was listening to you this morning, man. You said you might not come to my show because it's too long. So I'm gonna try to shorten it down. I'm gonna pay people at the end when the show's over. So I'm going to try to speed it up. But this is a good video right here, Jor. I'm just teasing you, though. You know that.
The energy leak in cash and the cash supply is faster than the leak of technology. As technology becomes more abundant and there's more and more... Why is this the case? This doesn't make any sense if you really think about it. It's inherently a paradox. And that's because the energy leak in cash and the cash supply is faster than the leak of technology. As technology becomes more abundant and there's more and more goods and more services and more prosperity, the rate of that expansion for everyone is dwarfed by the leak in cash. Basically, the way you can think of this is from an engineering perspective. We're really going to focus on this today in this video.
Well, I'm going to go back to that. Did you hear what he just said? I know. Jor, you're killing me, man. You're killing me. You're killing me. I want you to understand that. So basically what he's saying right now is, when you saw the chart going down, it means less people were poor and more people were getting abundant, right? He goes, but technology is getting better, so that means everything should be cheaper. So again, if everything should be cheaper, if technology is getting better, why is everything getting more expensive, right? So let's play that part again.
When you look at any picture from 100 years ago or 50 years ago, basically the price of anything and everything, any good, any service, is more expensive today. Our lives are far more prosperous than they ever have been in history, and yet virtually every market is near an all-time high in terms of its price. Why is this the case? This doesn't make any sense if you really think about it. It's inherently a paradox. And that's because the energy leak in cash and the cash supply is faster than the leak of technology. As technology becomes more abundant and there's more and more goods and more services and more prosperity, the rate of that expansion for everyone is dwarfed by the leak in cash. Basically, the way you can think of this is from an engineering perspective. We're really going to focus on this today in this video, is that these are open systems. These are two open systems, technology and cash, the goods, services, and commodities that technology brings, as well as the cash, the various fiat currencies of the world. These are two open systems. And so the whole reason that prices go up, despite technology forcing the real cost purchasing power of goods and services to go down, is because cash leaks faster than technology.
What's up, Scorpion? How you doing, brother? I'm gonna put your name in the wheel. Thanks for coming, bro.
And why do we do this? Why don't we just have cash track along with technology? Why don't we just have cash be a fixed supply, where we're not increasing the supply of money? Well, the reason we do this is because if we were to tighten, that would cause a credit collapse. If you have a system that's based on credit and debt and yields and getting return on money, you simply can't do that in a world where technology is forcing prices to go down. Because if you have that, then debt gets more expensive over time, and the interest rates cause the whole system to collapse. And governments don't want this, people don't want this, corporations don't want this, nobody wants a credit collapse. And so what we do is we always take the easy way out, and we just print more money, and we basically break the ledger, where 1 + 1 no longer equals 2, but 1 + 1 equals 5. We force math not to work in order so we can prevent a credit collapse and have cash leak faster as a system of energy when compared to technology. So a good example of this here we go. This is the British pound, all the way from today back to the year 1209. So we're looking at 800 years of history of the British pound here. And it looks like that the majority of the loss in value here is roughly 500 years ago. And while it's true that this was a massive decline in value, what we fail to realize here at the tail end in the last couple centuries here, even though it looks flat to us, these price declines are even worse than what is visually striking here over to the left. If we were to zoom in, for example, the majority of the collapse happens in this time period here. You can see just this going off a cliff, and you zoom in even more, closer and closer to today, it continues to just fall off a cliff. If you were to zoom in again, you see the same thing again and again, continuing on and on. Every year, every quarter, the value of the pound makes lower lows and lower highs, and it continues and perpetual decline towards zero. It doesn't matter how much you zoom in, every year it's just declining at an exponential rate. And the rate of the energy loss, the rate of value lost in the pound, is faster than the rate at which technology is adding value. And this disparity here is why prices go up. We are increasing the total supply of money faster than technology brings value to society.
And again, prices are not going up. It's just that your value of your dollar is going down. That's what that means. We just look at it from our perspective of saying, when we see a sticker price of something, when we go to the grocery store, we've seen it used to be, milk was $2.89 for a gallon, and now it's $4.25. It's like, wow, the prices went up. It's not that. They're pumping more dollars into the system. Even when technology is going up, it's not keeping with the rate of the debasement of our currency with the dollars flowing in.
This is why, for example, after the 2008 great financial crisis, we've seen prices go up so dramatically. Here I'm in America, so I'm speaking specifically to an American audience. However, this is the case around the world. House prices have gone up, stocks have gone up like crazy, and when people think about it, it doesn't inherently make sense, because everything is so much cheaper and so much more prosperous than it was just a mere 10, 15 years ago. The rate of change has been so dramatic.
All right, guys, it's time for another spin. We got block height 775. So let me go to this real quick. And we're going to do another spin. What's the troll talking about? Boring as Luke Bowles is in this vid. This should scared you away from Bitcoin. Okay. Anyways, let's do a spin real quick. Share screen. Wheel of names. Okay. Do I have everybody here? Am I missing anybody? Jor, I got Jor. Okay, good. Scorpion, Sin, Sharper Than Sword. Am I missing anybody? Is Monique on there? Yep. Everybody's good. Okay, let's spin it. Good luck, everybody. This is for block height 776. And then I'm going to do a trivia question real quick. Yes. Sharper. Congratulations, sir. Do you want to pass them to anybody, or you want to keep them, Sharper? Let me know. Anyways, let's check the price today. As we know, it was Liberation Day yesterday for the United States with Trump, and as you know, everything was crashing. So we think long term here, right? We don't think short term. We know we're in it for years and years and years, and everybody's talking about the market crashing. And when you see the market crashing, it indicates a thing or two to me. Number one is I'm giving them out at the end of the show, Sharper. So let me know if you don't say anything, then I'll give them to you at the end of the show. You just got to give me your address. But if you want to give them to somebody, just tell me. But when you see a crash like this, that means people don't understand what they have, right? I mean, the market crash, and I'm talking about, and I'm not even gonna look at the stocks. We don't buy stocks. 1.67 trillion or something like that. Basically, the whole market cap of Bitcoin, right? Because people are scared. They don't understand. Please pass to the new Bitcoiner, Monique. Okay, thank you, Sharper. Thank you. I got a trivia question. Is Luke Bowles ever coming out with the Bitcoin movie? I don't know. He announced he was supposed to come out with one on 2023. Anybody heard about that? He was supposed to. I don't know. So Monique, Sharpen the Sword is giving you his Satoshis. So I owe you 100. Thank you so much for doing that, Sharper. So I don't know, the troll. I don't. Market crash equals discounts. Absolutely. And I bought the dip today. Did you guys buy the dip? Because I did. So thank you so much, Sharper. Yeah. No problem, bro. No problem. But yeah, we know, and when we look at this right here, the fear and greed, we already know was low. It was low like this yesterday, but this is the time to buy, man. This is time to buy. Bowles is kind of sketch. I've talked to Bitcoiners that don't work with him. Kind of strange. That don't work with him. Kind of strange. Yeah, he is a little weird. But this video I'm showing from him, this is early in his career when he didn't get all, because he did get, I don't know if he got Hollywood or what. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. The information is what it is. I bought the dip. Good, man. Good. You bought bean dip. You bought bean diplol. I don't know what that is, the troll. Let's keep stacking them sats, Monique. Yes. Yes, sir. Will do. Yeah. So, the messenger doesn't matter. He did a great job in this video, though. He really did. But, as you can see, the fear and greed is very, very high. Extremely fear. This is the time to buy, man. And as you'll hear in this video, we're getting ready to watch, is that once you understand Bitcoin, this is why I always say at the end of my videos, it's the best way to save and the only way to save. I don't have a basket of investments and savings and stuff like that. I don't trip about that. I thought Bitcoin was quite resilient today. Even more reason to keep stacking. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of disappointed. I wanted to dip more. I wanted to get in like the 77 range. So let's keep watching this. Let's go back to it. Hopefully to pick up.
This way to put the entire.
Does it left off? Oh man, where did I leave off at? All right, somewhere around here. All right, let's keep going, guys.
The physical laws of the universe. We or to. And yet prices are near all-time highs. And this is because we tolerate an annual rate of fraud because we like to lie that we can get something for free when we actually can't. We want to shortcut hard work. We want to break the ledger. We want to create money out of thin air, aka value. We want to essentially break the laws of physics in order to get something for free that we don't want. Whether it's in the private or public sector, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing here. And fraud might sound like a harsh word to most people, but that is essentially the double spend problem. If you're aware of computer science, what the double spend problem is, it's basically where you create money out of thin air, or whether it's intentional or unintentional. It's where a system basically has a violation in it. It transforms from a closed system into an open system, essentially. And I know that's paraphrasing that there, but that's essentially what it is, where you have an energy leak within the system. And so this disparity between the collapsing real values of prices due to the exponential nature of technology and the rise of nominal prices due to the rate of inflation or the rate of debasement in the currency, the denominator of said prices, this is the rate of fraud or the violation of physics that I'm speaking of here. And so the whole reason for the entirety of human history up to this point that we invest, that we seek yields on our money, and we want returns on our money. We want to put our dollars to work. We want to make money on top of our money, is to outpace the rate of the money being printed and outpace the rate at which technology forces prices to go down. We are trying to outpace the energy leak that is in our underlying currency.
And we don't even know why we're doing it. When we're growing up, we're taught to save, invest. Now, we can't save dollars, obviously, but they teach us about investing. And that really came really popular in 1971 after we got off the gold standard. Everybody started thinking about, after a few years after that, thinking about how they can be rich and blah, 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 because we lost so much purchasing power because we started printing more and more money. I mean, we were printing money in the 1930s too, in the 20s, but ever since 1913, really, when they started the Fed. But that's the reason why we invest, we quote unquote invest and not save, because our money is broken. It keeps getting debased. I was really hoping for that 76, 78K range from a few weeks ago. Yeah, me too. Me too. But this is why they tell us to invest. But with Bitcoin, you never, I mean, guys, I used to be an investor. I don't invest anymore. I don't need to invest. And the only time I do invest into something, if I'm putting some time and energy and cash into it, I'm only doing it to spit out some more cash so I can buy some Bitcoin. That's it. I just save now. You can literally, and I used to say this to people all the time, you can't save your way to be rich in the old dollar system. But in this system with Bitcoin, you can do exactly that. You can save for the future and then be rich. Now, it's not all about that, but again, when you got the best money in the world in a different system outside of the one we're in, and Luke's going to touch on this, it's a game changer.
And so systems that are less open than systems that are more open leak energy slower. So for example, stocks do leak, but they leak slower than cash. But still, even though we aren't entirely aware that cash is losing value, that means that the quote-unquote returns and the yields that we get in our stocks and bonds are not near anywhere what we think they are. So if we go, for example, this is the S&P 500 in red since the Great Financial Crisis here in 2008, which is quote-unquote the largest bull run in American history. And over here in this blue line, we have the total assets of the Fed, the ECB, the European Central Bank, and the Bank of Japan all together in blue. You can see a striking correlation here. The S&P 500 is not really increasing in value. All it's doing is it's keeping track with the expansion of the balance sheets of these major central banks.
Boom. There's a secret right there. When you think your quote unquote stocks or your investments are going up, they're not going up, right? The chart looks like that, but again, it's only going up and keeping up with the money supply. And that's exactly what he's showing here. So when you look at your stock portfolio, you're like, oh my God, this is good. This is great. I'm making money. I'm doing this. My net worth is going up. Yeah, you're getting, it's worth more dollars, but the purchase power of those dollars at the same time as going up, you're losing value with your purchasing power. You're losing more purchasing power. This is a great graph.
Even though stocks are an open system and have an energy leak because companies can always issue more stock, the reality is that they're keeping up with the loss of energy in the balance sheets of these central banks. And so, say, if we compare this, what does this really mean? If you divide the assets of these central banks, which is basically purchasing assets with money created out of thin air, aka printing money, if you divide that by the S&P 500, what you have here is in this green line up here towards the top. This is what most people just think the stock market is. The stock market is this exponential thing that just keeps going up forever. Stocks go up forever, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But in reality, what the stock market actually does is it stays flat virtually, and it keeps track with the rate of printing of the currency. And so when we look at stocks in nominal terms, when we think that the dollar is a benchmark value, we think stocks are increasing in value, when in reality they're not increasing in value.
Yes, Scorpion. So basically it's worth the same. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly, Sin. And this is what we're talking about, man. They do not teach us this in school. Let me see what the troll is saying. His name should have been Luke Boring, because watching paint dries like Avengers Infinity War compared to his. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, you're right, Scorpion. I mean, it's nothing. It's like, again, it's an optical illusion, right? Because no one, if you ask 100 people walking down the street, what is inflation? They don't know, right? They just think prices are going up, but it's a good thing because I get a raise. But the problem is the raise, quote unquote, you're getting is not keeping up with the rate of inflation, or the rate of the dollars. Again, all these systems, and he'll talk about this in the video, they all have leaks. You know, the U.S. dollar has the number one leak. It's leaking energy and power and energy. But stocks and the S&P 500 and stuff like that, it has a slower leak. So compared to that sinking ship, the U.S. dollar, stocks are staying above water longer than the dollars. But Bitcoin has no leaks, none at all. There's no other asset on the planet that has no leaks but Bitcoin. All right, so real quick, guys, I got a trivia question for you. So let's see how quick you are on the draw here. Sticking to this subject. Okay, ready? All right. This is for 25 sats. This is an easy one. The PE ratio of these companies is like 30 to 40, which means it would take 30 to 40 years to recoup the initial investment. Yes. Yep. PE means profit and earnings. Absolutely. And people don't even know that, Jor. You know what I mean? We learned that in school, but I mean, you know, if you go to yes, the stock market is fake. Absolutely. Neo, complete illusion, right? Yep. Neo, rumor is tariffs are a smokescreen for a Bretton Woods Agreement 2.0. Russia, China, and USA are sitting down together, reappropriating the price of goods and gold. Yeah, I heard that too. I heard Scott, what's his name? Scott Bassett was rumored to do that because again, like you said, he's a gold bug. So, all right, let me do this one. So we're talking about gold. Name the date. If you name the year, I'll give you 50 points. But if you name the whole date, I will give you 100 points, okay? When did we get off the gold standard? I got you, Aiden. Hold on one second. When did we get off the gold standard? Boom, Zach. 100 sats. You're close, Monique, but that's the year I was born. Zach, 100 sats. I got you, bro. Congratulations. Sin Diesel. You know what? I'm going to give you 50 for that, my friend. I'm paying after the show. Or I'm in between the videos and stuff. 1872. Yep. No problem, bro. I was New York. Yes, you're right, brother. But I already gave it to the first two. But thank you. Yes, Tricky Dicky or Tricky Dick. You can tell I slept through history class. Yes. Let's talk to Aiden. Aiden. Hello, I'm Aiden, and I'm Clean Your Machine's grandson, and I was wondering how to earn sats freely instead of at cost. That is a good question, young man. How old are you, Aiden? Just curious. I got a lot of ways. Matter of fact, let me show you. You can go here, Aiden, to Ember. Where are we at here? Add to stage before pressing. Okay. Okay. So you can use Ember. All these links are in my description box. In the description box, Aiden. You're 14. Wow. You slept through history and English, yeah. 14. Wow. Trump is gonna rug bricks by dumping gold to buy Bitcoin. I hope so. Buy Biddy, yes. Hi, Monique. Hey. So this is what you do, Aiden. Go and watch. I did a video, and I'll put it up on the in the screen, and I'll put it in the description box, Aiden. Well, first of all, staying here, you're gonna get some free sats. That's number one, because I do trivia questions and I spin the wheel, and you'll get free sats like that. But I did a video 2 weeks ago, I think, Aiden, in one of my Satoshi Saturday videos. And I talked about that. So where to earn free sats. And here it is for you, Aiden. You can watch that video after this show, of course. Don't watch it now. There you go, Aiden. And you know what, Aiden? I'm going to give you 1,000 sats right now for coming in. Okay. So, Aiden, what's your wallet? Or have your grandpa give it to me, okay? And I'll give you 1,000 sats for coming in. How's that sound, little buddy? Thank you. I'll be sure to watch later. Okay. And just send me your address later on, and I'll send it to you tonight after I get off, okay? 1,000 Satoshis. I owe you. All right, let's see if we got to do a spin. Thank you for coming in, Aiden. Oh, boy, we got a couple spins to do. All right. Yes, congratulations, Aiden. All right, let me put your name on the wheel, Aiden. Hopefully you come in every day and get some free sats, little buddy. Not saying you're little, but you're young to me. So, Aiden, love you guys. Oh, man, we love you, man. Okay, thank you for the sats as well. Also, that sounds good. Okay. That's awesome, Jerry. And Aiden, if you put your address in the chat, there's a lot of nice people out here. They may throw you a few sats too. So we'll see. All right, we're about to do some spins. Am I missing anybody? Zach, clean your machine. Aiden. What's up, peeps? Got you, Damon. We're reacting to a video here, but I'm stopping in between and spinning and stuff like that. We got about a couple spins to do. Thanks for coming in, Damon. All right, so I'm going to spin it. This is for the Bitcoin block height of 890,776. So let's do it. Good luck, everybody. Let's go. Congratulations, bro. Runs New York. Okay. What's good, Damon? Glad to be here. Aiden, thank you for the shout out. No problem, bro. That speed wallet, Aiden? Yeah. Aiden, which wallet? It's speed wallet. Okay. Let me write that down. Aiden. AIDENASOSCOTT. Got you, little buddy. Thank you, bro. I went to Panda Express today and I told them that I know the logo and showed them your profile pic and got 15% off. Oh, man. Well, I'm glad you got it off, man. What up, Sin? Yep. Thanks. Congratulations on Runs New York. Yep. Hayden, New York in the building. Congrats. Thanks, Megan. All right. So let's do for 777. Let's do it. No doubt, Aiden. No doubt, bro. Clean your machine. You are the winner, sir. 778. Let me know if you want to keep them or whatever you want me to do. All right, this is for 778. Good luck, everybody. Aiden, congratulations. Congratulations, little buddy. Now I owe you 1,100 now. Pass them to Aiden. 1,200. Sorry. Thank you, Clean Your Machine. Pass to Aiden. All right. Congrats, everyone. Yes. Aiden, you're the winner. Thank you, Grandpa, for the sets. Oh, my God. That's so cute. So cute. And you won double time. Yes, you did, Aiden. Do you know of Jason Whitlock? He got into Bitcoin and used something called Fold. Yeah, I know Jason Whitlock. I know Jason Whitlock. And speaking of Fold, thanks for reminding me of that. I know Jason Whitlock very well, the troll. In the description box, guys, use my link to sign up for Fold. It's a card, a debit card, and when you sign up for it in my description, you will get 20,000 free sats on your first purchase. And then when you buy stuff, if you buy the gift cards and stuff like that, you'll get more free sats, Aiden. If your grandpa or your parents will let you do that. So, well, you may not. You're not 18 yet, but for those of you that are 18 and above, check out my link for the Fold app. Thanks for reminding me to troll, even though I know you weren't doing for that. Aiden, thank you for the congratulations. No problem, man. No problem, little buddy. All this winning. Are you tired? Are you tired of winning? Matter of fact, let me play that. Trump winning. Let's see. Hold on. Is this it? What is it called? Trump winning meme. Somebody send me that video. Trump winning. I don't know where it is. Is this it? Yeah. Hold on.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win so much. You may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more. We're going to win so much. I love you all.
Oh my God, that gets me every time, man. That gets me every time. Sent you 50 sats, Aiden. Congratulations, Aiden. Aiden, a future Bitcoin well. Yep. Thank you, Zach. I'm just getting showered. LOL. Okay. Cheers, everyone. Nice. The troll gave you a great segue. Yeah, he did. So, Aiden, I want you to stick around for this video we're watching because we're learning a lot, okay? So, where are we at? 778. We spin? Okay, let's spin for 778. I think we did already, but we'll do it again. Oh, boy. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Runs New York. You won again, my friend. Won again. Runs New York. All right, 779 780 781. All right, so let's spin for 779. Let's do it. Good luck, everybody. Yeah, you're killing it, bro. I'll you 200 more now. I sent you the other 100. Sharper than sword. Sharper than sword. You won 779. Let me know if you want me to give it to somebody. All right, this is 780. Maggie. Great job. All right, this is 781. These blocks are coming out pretty fast. Corey. This is rigged. Right. Thank you. Tune in to the Wheel of Misfortune with host Chunk Woolery. Who would that be? Would that be me? Get down, Maggie. Congratulations. Congrats, Corey. Congrats. All right. Now, what was that? 781. Okay, we got one more. 782. And then we're going to finish watching the video. I'm going to ask some questions. All right, let's do it. Boy, those blocks came out quick. Aiden. Boom. 1,300. Aiden, you are killing it. You are killing it, young man. Congrats, folks. Yes.
Leaking energy slower. Their stocks go up forever, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But in reality, what the stock market actually does is it stays flat virtually, and it
Aiden's going to start working for the business, and I'm paying him 90% sats and 10% cash. What's your options on Aiden even getting a bank account? What's your opinion on Aiden even getting a bank account? I mean, he should get a bank account just to show him, what to do. Because when he starts working for cash, unless he's always going to work for you, he just needs, to pay his bills and stuff. But who knows? By then, we might be on a Bitcoin standard. But I would get him a little bank account to show him that, hey, here it is, just to pay, because we spend currency, U.S. dollars, and you pay your bills through your bank account, and then everything else flows into Bitcoin. But that's great what you're doing, man. I mean, Aiden, you are one of the luckiest kids in the world to have a grandpa like that. Seriously, man, that's great.
keeps track with the rate of printing of the currency. And so when we look at stocks in nominal terms, when we think that the dollar is a benchmark value, we think stocks are increasing in value, when in reality they're not increasing in value. They are just leaking energy slower than the currency is leaking energy. And so then that disparity, that wedge of fraud basically that's occurring, is transferring wealth from the people that are recipients of the money later on to the people that are the first recipients of money. I mean, for example, you can see how even the dot-com bubble here in the stock market here at the turn of the century, stocks haven't even recovered from that in real terms, even though in nominal terms it looks like the dot-com bubble is far, far away from where we are today. And so this is really difficult for people to understand, but basically what we have here is we have stocks acting as a sort of monetized value. We're using stocks as a proxy money because we can't trust our cash, because our cash is leaking value every single year, but we can trust our stocks more because the stocks leak value slower than the cash. So the big question here is, what if we were to figure out a way to create something that had no leak of energy, but instead absorbed energy and then stored it over time and space? No other asset ever in human history has been able to do that. And what if we were able to do that? What if we were find a way to create a system that could store energy over long, long periods of time?
Boy, wouldn't that be great to have a system like that could store energy over long periods of time? That was a closed system, finite amount of units. Man, I wish we could find that.
And also is easily transferable over space. That this is the big question. And the answer is that if that system were to exist, it basically would change everything. It would be a fundamental shift in technology akin to, say, that of the printing press or the internet or some other major leapfrog of advancement in that regard, because it would be a perfect energy storage system that would be thermodynamically sound. In the same way that cash leaks value as a function of time and it declines, it's not a thermodynamically sound system because we are intentionally manipulating the ledger and we're intentionally breaking laws of physics here, essentially. And I say that in a metaphorical sense here. And so all other systems, assets, has a half-life, basically. And so, if you can think of these things as being in orbit around Earth, again, to use a physical metaphor, there's a rate at which its value declines. And so eventually, these things are not truly in orbit. They come back down to Earth. But instead, if you were to find a way that could suspend energy, you could basically put something into metaphorical orbit. If there's no decay, it theoretically could continue to survive forever versus something that continues to decline in value forever. And so if you were to create this system, you need baseline units. You need a way to quantify the energy on that system. You need some sort of token or some sort of numeric piece of information or some unit that was underlying that system, which essentially, not only if you were to create this system, inherently means you not only create a perfect energy storage system, you also, as a direct result, create a perfect money. Because not only is it storing energy as a function of time, but because it's in baseline units, you've basically just created a new form of money. And that money retains its value over time because the energy retains its value over time. And guess what? If you have a form of energy storage, a sort of battery of energy that is decentralized in a way where everyone has access to it in a neutral fashion, apolitical fashion, which also becomes a form of money, then that means oh, you also have an ideal weapon here, where instead of a weapon of mass destruction, where you attempt to destroy your enemy, instead what you actually do is you exert a brute force physical cost on your enemy, and you can basically weaponize energy and money against them to gain influence over them in a way that is not destructive towards them, but instead constructive towards yourself and your own nation and your own national interests at a faster rate than them. Instead of trying to destroy your enemy faster than they destroy you, you build yourself up faster than your enemy can build themselves up. And so that still creates that power dynamic that gets the end result of what nations want, which is increasing their influence on an international stage, except there are theoretically no casualties there. And creating a system like this, obviously, is very, very, very hard to do, because you have to require it requires some sort of tie or some sort of relation to the real world, because you can't have energy be created out of thin air. Energy is neither created or destroyed, it's only transferred. So you have to find a way to create a system that is tied in with the real world, and also the digital world, aka information, because in reality, there's nothing in the universe that is completely resilient against entropy. And so basically you have to come up with a way to have something that is outside the constraints of our real world at the same time. You need kind of both sides of this, and they need to merge in a way that is ideal. And also you need a way for it to be outside of human control, which, up to this point has been seemingly impossible. Pretty much anything humans touch, anything we invent, any system we create, inherently has humans control it. We can try to decentralize it as much as possible. Take the United States government, for example, or the idea of a constitution at all. You're basically trying to decentralize power. But these are still controlled by humans, albeit it's more difficult in a democracy versus a dictatorship to change the rules of a system. But it's still humans at the end of the day. And if you give humans control to manipulate money, they will. And so this whole idea of creating a thermodynamically sound system that stores energy that also be converted into money and a weapon is something that visionaries of the past predicted decades and even over a century ago. In the case of Henry Ford, he was one of the first people that attempted to do this. It's because he understood that eventually humanity would get to the point where we would find a way to create a source code or a ledger, so to speak, of ones and zeros and information that is tied into the natural wealth of the world, basically. And so he attempted to do this, although obviously he failed, but it's one of the amazing things that he and other people like him envisioned in the future. And so to know if we're at that point in future...
Did you guys know that about Henry Ford? Did anybody know that? I didn't know that till I saw this video.
Or not, we have to ask ourselves, if we were in that future, what would it look like? If it were to exist, what would it look like? Well, the first thing would be, it would have to be a global system that could transfer a brute force physical cost anywhere in the world. Again, like I was referring to before, it needs to have some tie to the real world. And the second indicator would be a system on top of that, or intertwined with that in some way, that can convert that electricity, or aka that brute force physical cost, into information. And a third component of the system would be, it would have to transfer said information across space and time. You'd have to be able to transfer it in the world, and you would need a sort of mechanism to convert that energy into those units and into that system that is thermodynamically sound and has a finite supply or a finite cap of units. And so basically these are the four components you need. You need something to transfer energy, something to turn that energy into information, something to transfer that energy across space, and something to retain the value of that information over time, where it can't be diluted and it can't have energy leak in the open system. And so basically what you have here is the electric grid. This is the global electric grid. This is computers. What are computers? Your phone, all your phone does is it turns electricity into information. It turns watts into ones and zeros that it displays to you. You have electrical energy via electric wires that is turned into computational energy with computers, in the 40s and 50s here. And then you have the internet that transfers that information that the computers create across space. And then you have a piece of software that takes that information and turns it into a system with a finite scarcity of assets. And that's the basic thing to think about here in this transition. We've basically created a multi-layered emergent system that has these layers to it. And so when you think of Bitcoin, the basic way to think about it is that it's a piece of software that, using the internet, has computers turn electricity, a brute force physical cost, into energy. And this is what makes it different than cash. Cash is issued by decree, and it's issued by the will of a government or the will of an institution, the will of people, same with stocks, same with any other paper asset. Whereas with Bitcoin, it is a self-regulating system that converts electricity into a finite scarcity of its units. And it doesn't matter how much brute force you throw at it, and it doesn't matter what computers convert that brute force, and it doesn't matter where it comes from, but it ends up in the same spot. And so basically the discovery of this system that can convert real energy into the forms of 1 and zeros and retain its energy irregardless of intervention from human will or desire, despite increase in energy production, despite the ability of humans to create more energy due to improving technology over time, it is the essence of the discovery here. And so, like I said before, even though cash is a series of 1s and zeros, it is entirely different than this, because there's no brute force in creating that. And even though it has, it runs on computers, it's not encoded by computers. It's simply 1s and zeros that are decreed by a centralized party and not something that is emergent of a decentralized system. And so basically the way to think of it here is that if you were to create such a system, it would be metaphorically like a black hole, and that it is something that is a closed loop and something that has other forms of energy fall into it. You know, for example, if you can create an infinite number of planets, but the end destination is available, you can throw an infinite amount of energy at it, but it will always retain it because it's a finite scarcity of units that are exchangeable for a brute force physical cost. And the amount of brute force is dependent on the value of that system, which we'll get to more in just a moment. And so enter Bitcoin. This is where we start to talk about Bitcoin. The first thing.
Wow. That was part one. There's 3 parts. I edited to shorten it up a little bit. What do you guys think about that? It's crazy, right? All right, we got somebody new. We got Melissa. Welcome. I'm muted. Sorry. That was part 1 of 3. I edited it. So yeah, it's crazy when you break it down like that. And like George said, Henry Ford was 100 years too early. Yeah, because we needed this kind of money or this kind of system. But again, he was too early for his time. And also what George said is Bitcoin couldn't have worked until the internet was fast enough in 2009. Yeah. So I got 2 more parts of that. I just wanted to break it up real quick. Let's see what block we're at. Okay, we're at 783. Okay, we're going to spin for 783. Do I have everyone in here? Melissa's new. Monique. Okay, let's spin. See what happens. Good luck, everybody. Sharper. You didn't tell me what you wanted me to do with block 779. So I owe you 200. So do you want to keep them and give me your address? Or you want to send them to someone else? Please, for our Sunday, don't play the other parts. People will be falling asleep at their keyboards. That means I'm going to play it for sure. Whatever you don't like, we like. So, boom. Let's check out. Let's see the market cap. Great info. Hey, Mimi, thank you. Appreciate it. I have not read his book. I haven't seen that. But as you guys can see here, gold is at 21.3 and we are at 1.6 trillion. And when Henry Ford was alive, gold was it. Gold was the way. And so obviously, in my personal opinion, I think Bitcoin is 1,000 times better, at least 1,000 times better. So, and right now today, guys, no matter what the price is, you can get 1,202 Satoshis for $1. And as we continue this video, you're going to see how many Satoshis he was getting back in November, December of 2022. Remember during the FTX crash? Yeah, it's incredible. So, Sin Diesel, this book in particular, however, I read parts of his history. They obviously didn't teach us in school. Yeah, I don't think the other people in the chat like to eat buffets every hour. I don't know anybody who likes to eat buffets every hour. So I don't know who does that. All right, anyways, I'm going to play this part 2.
Sats or Satoshi.
And now he's going to get into the good part. We're going to talk about Bitcoin now and how it can solve these issues.
This is the simplest way to put the entire Bitcoin thesis here. And basically everything we've been talking about to this point is covering this dynamic here. We have an infinite amount of cash ability to be created out of thin air. We have an infinite amount of land that we're able to discover and improve on and build and create for humanity. We have an infinite amount of intelligence, especially now we're on the cusp of artificially intelligent systems, and the more humans we have and the more robots we have and the more computers we have only more and more information there. And take metals like gold or silver or copper, we're able to mine more and more materials over time and get more materials for our computers and our other systems, orders of magnitude more every single generation and every single iteration. As technology gets better, we find ways to create more metals and goods and services. Infinite debt, nations and corporations.
Not gonna lie, that kind of stung me when I was watching that. Talking about infinite metals. Now, mind you, I was 70% into precious metals at the time, and I didn't understand that. I'm like, what do you mean infinite metals? How can we find more precious metals? Because again, I was watching so many precious metals channels. I thought it was scarce, and it is scarce compared to Bitcoin, but I mean compared to fiat dollars, but compared to Bitcoin, everything is infinite.
We again are based in a system that requires an expansion of credit, that requires an expansion of cash to prevent credit collapses. And so there's an infinite amount of debt to be borrowed and to be created. And remember, keep in mind, when you create debt, you are creating new money. If person A owes person B money, basically the parties have created money because now you have the original cash and then you have the IOU that has been created out of thin air. The same thing with stocks. If stocks go up in value, a company can issue more stock and create more stock to be injected in the system. Same thing with energy, as I was speaking about earlier. We're able to create more and more energy. Same thing with bonds. We're able to create more bonds, which is another way of thinking about debt. We create more of that over time. We have more and more food, thank God, and starvation goes down, and prosperity and art. Every piece of art is unique, but we create more and more art over time, and basically everything humans can ever create is infinite. And this is the story of human history.
I never thought about that till I watched this video. That everything in the world can be, made more of. Is an abundance of it. You know what I mean? We never were taught this kind of stuff in school. Speaking of that, we have a couple of blocks that just came out, 784 and 785. So let's do a spin. Got Mimi in the house. Okay. Let's do a spin real quick. I think I saw the troll saying something here. A little, yep. If there is, you can still for now grab the PDF. If these videos are an example of that Bitcoin movie he's making, then leave that movie on the cutting room floor. Okay. You might want to tell him that, not me. Good luck, guys. Corey. Congratulations, my friend. That was for block height 784. Now let's do 785. We'll get back to the video. If you guys got any questions during the video, I'll stop it and we'll discuss it. Jor for the score. Congratulations, sir. All right, let's get back into it. Part 2.
Civilization improves, prosperity increases, starvation goes down, and poverty goes down because we are able to create as much of everything we want. And some of these have more benefit than others. Obviously, infinite debt is not nearly as important or beneficial to humanity as having more and more ability to create food and energy. But the point is the same. Everything, good and bad, we're able to make more of. Except Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is outside the scope of human intervention because it's regulated by computers. The computers can't suddenly decide to create more out of thin air. We don't have to trust any centralized person or any centralized board or entity to regulate the amount of Bitcoin in the same way we have to trust companies and corporations to regulate the amount of supply of all of these assets. But instead you have computers just verifying each other, the protocol and the system as described here before, a series of computers validating with each other finite scarcity, and basically no matter how much hash you throw at the system, no matter how much energy you throw at the system, it validates that scarcity. And this is the essence of the idea here that as technology improves, we're only going to have more of everything, and Bitcoin is always going to be finite. So you have an infinite amount of prosperity, an infinite amount of cash, and an infinite amount of credit, and an infinite amount of debt divided by the Bitcoin system, the dominant proof of work consensus mechanism with Nakamoto consensus and difficulty adjustment and all the technical things.
Yeah, everything divided by 21 million, right? Let me show you this. For those of you who have not seen this book, it's called Bitcoin, Everything or Infinity Divided by 21 Million. And basically the premise of that is everything in the world in this new monetary global currency that's going to be happening with Bitcoin, everything's going to be priced in that. Everything that is around now, everything that's going to be around tomorrow, non-perishable stuff around now will be priced in Bitcoin, right? And again, there's not 21 million. We know that there's many coins that have been lost that'll never be found again. I'm not talking about the ones that are held by people, because some people are going to sell, but the ones that are lost in Satoshi Nakamoto's coins, those aren't moving. So everything that we're going to be buying in the future, our kids, our grandkids, us when we're a little older, is going to be divided by 21 million. And that's when you think about that, how valuable are your sats today? You know, we're giving out sats here. You can go on these websites in the links below in the description box and earn free sats. Guys, I'm telling you right now, they're not going to be doing this in 5 years, 3 years, 4 years, 6 years, whatever. They're not going to be giving this out, because once people start figuring it out, my goodness, man.
Unique. There's only one of them, and there's only 20 million bitcoins within the system, or 2 quadrillion sats or satoshis, which are the smallest unit of Bitcoin. And so basically what this means is that energy, along with everything else, is going to zero as we have more of everything, and cash is going to zero faster than that. And both of these are going to zero against Bitcoin, because there's only a finite number of Bitcoin when there's an infinite infinite amount of everything else. And this number is completely arbitrary. The fact it's finite is the entire point. It doesn't matter if there are 21 million Bitcoin or 210 billion Bitcoin from its initial creation. The important factor is that it's finite, and we've never had a system where we've been able to do that before. And that's the whole innovation here. That's the whole point. And so if we think about this, to give some more practical examples, if we think about cash, in the United States here, the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve back in March of 2020 announced that there are no reserve requirements for all depository institutions. So if you have cash in a bank account, it might not exist technically, legally, at least for the last couple of years. And that's because
fractional reserve banking. And also, like you said, you can have cash in the bank, and you don't even they don't even have to have it in there, the bank. You know what I mean? I was cleaning up Arnie hair and missed the spin. Please send my first 100 to the Bitcoin Gospel. Okay, sure will. Wow. Thank you. Mia, did you start your wallet yet? We'll talk about it later, but you have 100 sats going to you. Thank you, Jor, for doing that. Very kind of you. Mia. But yeah, isn't that something? Because again, when you have quote unquote money in the bank, cash in the bank, it's not your money anymore. You know what I mean? They could do whatever they want with it, and now they're saying they don't even have to. They're required not to tell or talk about the money in there. They don't have to report it. It's crazy, man. This is insane, man.
Desired to create money out of thin air. We desired to not have our system tied to the physical laws of the universe. We wanted to not have a thermodynamically sound system because it's easier, because we didn't want to deal with the negative consequences of such an event. Or take Social Security, Medicare. These are things that we cannot pay for. We never have been able to pay for, and we justify being able to pay for them because we can create money out of thin air. And this, again, is a violation of ledger, and it eventually has to come back to roost. Again, the metaphor of an orbit, if you have something that has a rate of decay, any rate of decay above 0, that means it eventually has to come back down to its origin, which would be Earth in the metaphor's case here. And so towards the end of this decade, the 2020s and the early to mid 2030s, we're going to see major problems here as these things that are not attached to the real world eventually have to come back eventually have to become attached to the real world again. Same thing with stocks. Companies can dilute their own stocks and create new shares that can be issued onto the market and purchased. Again, this is a violation of thermodynamics and physics in the metaphorical sense, because you're creating value out of thin air, and that's.
Can you imagine that? This is the same thing as what they do with currency, the U.S. dollar. Can you imagine having a certain amount of stocks and you're like, oh man, my stock is worth this because I got a finite piece of those stocks, and then all of a sudden, boom, they issue more. It's crazy. Summon Satoshi, what's up? I summon Satoshi, what's up, brother? Let me put you on the wheel. You know what I mean? They just create more. And what's that? When you have a certain amount of stocks, summon. When you have a certain amount of stocks and then they issue more, what happens to the ones you had? It gets debased. Like he said, it breaks the laws of physics and thermodynamics.
Create new shares that can be issued onto the market and purchased. Again, this is a violation of thermodynamics and physics in the metaphorical sense, because you're creating value out of thin air, and that's simply not how the world works. You have to exert work, which is why Bitcoin is unique, because it's a proof of work system. Computers give effort and the means of a brute force physical cost, transferring it via computers over the internet into its series of tokens, and we don't want to do the work. We want to create money out of thin air. Speaking of creating money out of thin air, we have here's an example of the U.S. debt clock, and that there's an infinite amount of cash and an infinite amount of debt. If you were to go back in time here, say just to the year 2000, you see the U.S. national debt was roughly $5 trillion. And if you lurch forward to today, to 2022, it's well over $30 trillion. And this is.
Look at that number. $31 trillion in the end of 2022. Fast forward to now. Let's see where it's at now. Much, much higher, ladies and gentlemen. More than 5.5 trillion more in less than 3 years. About 2.5, little less than 2.5 years. This is how much money creation has happened.
Important thing here is that this is not an increase of $26 trillion, but instead this is an increase of 6x. And so, if you continue this math out for any duration of time, the math only gets scarier the farther you go out. So the same thing's true with stocks. The same thing's true with gold. We're always going to be able to discover more gold. Just earlier this year, in July of 2022, we discovered 31 million more tons of gold at least. And this is going to impact the gold market, because when you issue more.
Now, I don't know if this story was true. A lot of gold bugs at the time debunked that, so I don't know if that's true. If they found 31 million tons, I don't think that happened, but that could happen, right? We haven't checked every little crevice in the world. Hello, spin ended already? Yeah, but I'll put you in there, brother. Here, let me put you in there now. But that's not the point. The point is technology, when it gets better, because the only reason we don't find more gold and silver is because the demand is not high enough and our technology is not good enough. But believe me, if the demand goes up, the technology will go up with it. People will find it for sure. Canada needs a dose clock, yeah. But nobody has more debt than America.
Gold over time, you dilute the supply. You basically have an energy loss in the system, that if you own a bar of gold, that bar of gold is going to lose energy over time, because there's always new issuance coming onto the market. As technology gets better, we find more gold, we are more efficient in refining gold, and eventually we get to ludicrous things, or at least by today's standards, of eventually mining asteroids. People think that, we're just limited to Earth. Well, what happens in the future? Not anywhere in the near future, but basically there's an infinite amount of resources in space, at least infinite in human scale. If we're never going to run out of gold, we're never going to run out of water, we're never going to run out of these things. If the market is demanding these things, we're going to find a way that is economically viable to gain more materials. We can go out to other asteroids or planets or the moon or whatever and get as much as we want, or look inwards to Earth and find more effective ways to refine our resources on Earth.
All right, precious metal stackers. Now, do you hear that? Right now, that's kind of a hard pill to swallow, I know, because it was a pill for me. But again, compared to US dollars, precious metal stackers, it's great. You know what I mean? But Bitcoin is completely different. It's a completely different animal, right? As you'll see as this video goes on. But that is no lie right there. I know it sounds crazy to talk about going in outer space and to the moon and the asteroids and other planets and stuff like that. Even deep down in the sea, there's going to be gold down there. You know what I mean? But again, it's not finite. It's scarce compared to I love gold too. It's scarce compared to fiat currency, but as you'll see, it's not compared to Bitcoin.
Or take this, for example, humanoid robots. We think that there are labor shortages, and we think that there's a scarcity of labor, where in reality, the future that's coming, there's going to be only more and more kinds of labor. There are only going to be more people as the population continues to grow over the coming decades and centuries. And yeah, that might ebb and flow, especially on the region, but there's always going to be more people. There's always going to be more labor. The human population has been exponential for thousands of years now at this point. And the same thing is true with robots. What if, say in a quarter to half a century or so, we're able to have humanoid robots that we can just make tens of millions, hundreds of millions of them, and add them to the workforce. There's an infinite amount of labor that's possible, and we're able to do that because there's an infinite amount of materials to create said robots, and there's an infinite amount of intelligence that can be plugged into those robots, because now not only do we have the intelligence of humans, but we're on the verge of artificial intelligence becoming only more common across the entire world. So there's an infinite amount of intelligence, an infinite amount of labor, and our energy consumption continues towards infinity. We discover more and more ways to create.
It's 100 sats, Jazz. But here's the thing, right? The inflation rate is being halved every 4 years for Bitcoin is already lower than gold's inflation rate, and it only did it in 16 years. 16 years. Stock to flow ratio is the best in the business right now for Bitcoin. The Fed put out a comment called "Wishes and Rainbows." Yeah. So, but what he was saying about artificial intelligence and robots and stuff like that, guys, in 2035, this world is going to look completely different. The regular non-skilled jobs, I'm not talking about the hard skilled jobs that takes actual people to do it. I'm talking about the job that I do, doing DoorDash, quote unquote, picking cotton, picking fruit and stuff like that. That's all going to be done autonomously by these robots and AI. It just is. When you're going to walk into a McDonald's or a Burger King or a restaurant or something like that, they'll have it where there's going to be no people in there at all. I do DoorDash. Sometimes I go into McDonald's. There's nobody in the front. There's just a kiosk. And then all of a sudden you look and the food's there. You know what I mean? It's crazy. The Boston Fed, right? Yeah, I haven't heard about that.
Energy, and all these forms of energy become more efficient. We find more raw materials, and this, even though this looks flat over here to the left, it actually continues its exponential trend all the way out for hundreds of years and even millennia. We continue to get better, and this is only going to be dwarfed by a factor of 10, a factor of 50, a factor of 100 in the future. We can't even understand it. In the same way that a civilization that slaughters whales in order to oil their lamps to light their homes can't imagine that everyone would use light bulbs, because to them light bulbs are so expensive and so impractical and so unbelievably energy intensive by their standards. Today, we use light bulbs, we leave them on at night, we don't even think about it. And in the same regard, things today that are extremely energy intensive, that seem mind-blowing to us, will become normal and commonplace for people in the future. This is just the way technology works over time.
Yeah, Jor talks about that a lot on his channel, talking about electricity. Remember the example you used, Jor, where back in the days people thought people were going to die using using electricity back then and stuff like that. Same thing, even further back when all our candles and stuff or whatever was lit by whales. They would thought electric light bulbs are crazy. You can't do that. That's crazy. It's the same thing now. The world has completely changed, man. The fiat currency, gold and stuff like that. We're so used to that. But when you got this brand new system, and it's going to show you in a minute how close it is, people don't understand it, because you're judging a system, a new system from within an old system.
But compare that to Bitcoin, where this red line here is its supply. And so over the first 140 years of its existence, the new issuance of supply will decrease by 50% every 210,000 blocks, roughly 4 years, because every block is 10 minutes long. But basically what we have here is a finite system. It is a closed loop. It retains its supply. It cannot increase no matter how much energy we throw at it, no matter how many computers we throw at it. It is designed to only have 21 million Bitcoin. It's designed to have a finite system. It is a closed system in a world of open systems. And so this sounds insane to say that everything is going to zero against Bitcoin, but the basic metaphor here is to compare oxygen versus the Mona Lisa. This is something that I think is a good metaphor to explain here. Oxygen is the most valuable thing we have. It's more valuable than water. It's more valuable than food. It's more valuable than your health. Obviously without water and food, you're going to die. But without oxygen, you'll be dead in a matter of minutes. It is the most urgent thing that we need all day, every day, even when we are sleeping. But it's free. Nobody charges for oxygen, and the reason it's free is because its supply is infinite. Even though oxygen is the most valuable thing for our survival, it is free, and nobody charges for it because its supply is infinite. Yes, demand is important, but supply is far more important in this example. Where compared to the Mona Lisa, you don't need it to survive. You're not going to die if you don't see it, if you don't have it beside you every single day. Obviously, this is laughable. Yeah, everyone pays to see it. I've seen the Mona Lisa myself, and it's amazing. You have this massive horde of people all taking pictures of it who have all paid exorbitant amounts of money to fly there or take a train there or walk there and pay their entrance ticket and be able to see it and take a picture of it or to look at it. Everyone pays to see the Mona Lisa, even though nobody needs it to survive. And yet nobody thinks about the oxygen they're breathing because we all take it for granted because supply is infinite. And so if we were to think, for example, of pricing the Mona Lisa in oxygen, its price would trend towards infinity. Say we lived in a world where,
First of all, this is a great analogy he's using. I really like that. But Jor just sent me this picture I was telling you about that Jor talks about on his channel. And there it is right there. This is an old, let me see, newspaper clip, I guess, or a magazine, I think, from October 26, 1899. Judge entered at the post office at New York as second class matter, copyright 1889. Now look how they're presenting this, right? They're presenting it like all these lines, these electricity lines are going to kill us. We're going to die. Look at everybody. It's going to kill the horses. It's going to kill the people, the women, the children, the men. Everybody's going to die, right? Why do they do that? They do that because they're incentivized to not have this stuff because it messes up their technology and how they make money. It's going to be the same thing, Yep. 3 people to operate a car at 4 miles an hour. Exactly. It was one of the fake news. Looks unreal that this guy's actually saying that. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Jay? Let me put you in here. How you doing, brother? We're just reacting to a video from Luke Burrows from back in 2022. Clean your machine. Yep. Hello. Yeah, it's crazy. Andrew, is this a real person? Is this a real person, Andrew? I sent a photo of this. Reminds me of it on Signal too. Okay, I'll check it out. But yeah, it's incredible when you look back and realize how stupid people were back then, right? Okay, let me save this and I'll pull it up. But it is what it is. We know what's going on, and it's up to us to make sure we understand and help people understand what the new paradigm is. And again, it's very difficult to judge another system from an old system.
Units of oxygen were our form of currency, the price or the quote-unquote value of the Mona Lisa would trend towards infinity because we have an endless amount of the resource.
What's up, Bacon Booty? Stuffed on sushi and now join the party. Appreciate you, brother. I'll put you in the wheel.
We have an endless amount of the underlying currency, the underlying form of value here. And so basically, again, if you want to think of it from a physics or an engineering perspective, if you divide an open system by a closed system, you get an infinite price. Okay, let me emphasize that again. If you divide an open system by a closed system, you get an infinite price. If you divide the Mona Lisa, where there's only one, a fixed amount of Mona Lisa versus oxygen, an infinite amount, you get an infinite price. Okay, and so if you divide an infinite amount of cash, an infinite amount of energy, and paper equity, and bonds, and stocks, and everything else, if you divide all of these infinite things by a closed system, and specifically a closed system of computers and a proof of work consensus mechanism.
Can you play that vid, Jerry, of the Chinese guy saying Bitcoin will destroy us? Huh. Larry's clip. Have I seen that? Hold on. Who's saying it, Sharper? I don't remember that one off the top of my head. I know which one you're talking about. Bowles was rambling and long-winded like you, but the difference is that unlike Bowles, you are a pizza man, and I can put the Tani speed on 1.5. I don't know what you're talking about. Welcome to the jungle. Yes, it's on actual fake news interview. Can somebody send me the link to that so we can play it?
Where it is a finite system and where nothing is created out of thin air, no energy is created or destroyed. It's simply transferred from electrical energy to computational energy into digital energy. That again is a finite system, a closed system. That system's value trends towards infinity. It is incredibly hard for people to understand this, but basically,
I read that wrong. It's an actual fake news interview. 1.5 won't work live. Yeah, I know he's an idiot. Was it on CNN, Sharper, or MSDNC? Does anybody know the guy's name? Let me see if I can type it. Should I say Asian guy saying Bitcoin destroyers? I don't know what clip that is, brother. Zach, are you sending it to me? Let's see.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Let me play this while I pull it up. Thanks, Zach.
the metaphor clearly here is that Bitcoin is the proverbial Mona Lisa, while everything else is trending towards oxygen over time. Even though we need all this prosperity, we need all these things, when you have an infinite supply, it is just going to increase in abundance over time, and its value in relation to the scarce thing is going to decline forever. And so basically, the way to put it, why Bitcoin matters for the average person, is that to not own Bitcoin in the future will be like trying to sell your neighbor's bottles of oxygen to get by. It's like, yes, they need it, and yes, they need it to live, but it's so abundant, it's so cheap, and there's so much prosperity that you're not going to be able to sell it, because the marginal cost of energy has gone to zero, and there's abundant everything. What is there left to sell? Well, you need something that is scarce. You need something that is outside human control. You need something in order. You need something there to be able to price all these things in. And so basically, people look backwards and think it's absurd that we... people will look back and think it's absurd that we'll have a mixed portfolio of consumer goods and equity that goes to zero. In the same way that it sounds absurd of selling oxygen to your neighbor today, it will sound absurd that we used to hold our houses and stocks and companies and all these things as things that would go up and trend up with time, because in this future world, all these things will just go down towards zero over time. And so to give some...
All right. Zach just send this to me. Thank you, Zach. Let's play this. I don't think I've ever heard this.
Bitcoin will become the ultimate type of a form of the currency been adopted by human society. I can tell exactly what's going to happen as the worst scenario or the must scenario. We're all going to die. This is not a joke. If Bitcoin will become the ultimate type of a form of the currency been adopted by human society, I can tell exactly what's going to happen as the worst scenario or the must scenario. We're all going to die. This is not a joke.
Oh my God, I've never heard that. I have never heard that. Wow. That's crazy.
Presentations of this, this is the U.S. rent market as measured in Bitcoin. It is divided by Bitcoin here. What you see here, this red line, is that the price of rent in the United States is going down against Bitcoin. Bitcoin is forcing the price of rent to go down. Take gold, for example. The same thing here. Bitcoin versus gold. Gold is losing value against Bitcoin. Tesla stock is losing value against Bitcoin. The entire NASDAQ is losing value against Bitcoin. The S&P 500 is bleeding against Bitcoin. And the dollar especially takes the cake because it is the most open system. It is the system easiest to corrupt. It is the system easiest to create new infinite supply of. It is decreasing the fastest against Bitcoin. People think that, Bitcoin's going up and down in price, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, the dollar is bleeding against Bitcoin. And it's continued to for an extremely long period of time. And so another way to think of it is this video representation here. Then I give this credit to Bitcoin Times here, but basically what you have is Bitcoin, its constant rate, and everything else, S&P 500 and real estate and gold and all these other currencies here down towards the bottom, they're all depreciating against Bitcoin. You have a finite system here. You have a closed loop of energy, and you have an infinite amount of supply in all these other systems. And so inevitably, their value is going to trend downwards forever. If we skip forward here a little bit, they continue to go down. And the longer you go, the farther they go, because the more and more supply you can create, because these are open systems versus the single closed system that we have been able to create. And see, what happens is that people are looking from within these systems here outwards towards Bitcoin, and they see this thing that is skyrocketing, and they see volatility in Bitcoin. When reality is the volatility is in all these assets, and that's the distinction that people don't make. And we'll get back to that.
And that's the thing. It's all about your perspective, right? Let me show this again. So when you look at that and you see everything moving down, being volatile and stuff like that, and Bitcoin just remaining steady, why? Is because we're looking at it's the only thing that's a straight line, because it's a fixed supply. Everything else is, you know, can be manipulated, can be debased. They can make more of it. This is the fixed supply. This is the one. And this is how we look at things, through this lens. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's crazy.
Continue to go down, and the longer you go, the farther they go, because volatility is in all these assets. And that's the distinction that people don't make. And we'll get back to that in just a moment. But basically, people don't understand it yet. People think Bitcoin's energy usage is a bad thing, when hopefully I'm making clear that its usage is a good thing. It is a feature. You need a system that requires energy, and it requires energy input into it for that energy to be stored. It can't create energy out of thin air. It's a feature, not a bug. Energy usage is essential for Bitcoin. Finite supply is essential. If you have an infinite supply, then you have an open system, and you have an energy leak in the system. Volatility is inevitable in such a takeover. Again, if we're to compare this, if you're comparing a finite system versus an infinite system, it is always going to be volatile. And the exchange rate is always going to be volatile. It's inherent, because all these things, even though in relation to each other, compare the blue line versus the red line versus the green line, these things aren't as volatile with each other as compared to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is flat. All these things track with each other, but Bitcoin is in its entirely own league. And so that's why the volatility looks different. It's always going to be that way. Bitcoin will always appear volatile, because the system in which we are looking outwards from is inherently volatile. It's also a feature, not a bug, that's outside human control. You can't have humans or a state or a company or a centralized board control this, because if you give humans control, we will corrupt it. Human emotion and a desire for short-term stability will always trump our desire for long-term security. Now, what's going to happen here is that most will have to reset to zero for the new system to emerge, in the same way that the Industrial Revolution, 90% of people were farmers, and then, they all had to leave their jobs on the farm to go into industry and into factories, which was an improvement in their lives. It was safer and more prosperous, and it paid better and everything. The reality is that they had to go to zero first, and they had to learn an entirely new career, an entirely new set of skills, and their entire worldview changed, because you go from being on a farm into a factory. And so the unfortunate reality is that most won't get out in time, and most won't transition until it's already happened. But again, everyone will be better in the new system, whether they realize it or not. And so going up forever sounds insane, because we've never seen a closed system here. And there's a clip we'll get to that manifests that statement pretty well. People think that it's possible to recreate Bitcoin, but this is not. This appears to date not to be possible. There have been thousands of attempts to recreate Bitcoin over the last 40 years. There were dozens of attempts before Bitcoin to make it, and they all failed. They all failed because they were trying to create energy out of thin air, and they weren't obeying the thermodynamic nature of the system that it required. And I'm pretty sure, and it appears to me and most Bitcoiners, that it's impossible to improve, or it's at least very, very difficult to improve. Again,
No, it's impossible to improve. There will never be another Bitcoin. This thing will be around for thousands of years, in my personal opinion. You know what I mean? Just because of the way it was made, the Immaculate Conception, the way Satoshi Nakamoto, the way he mined it, proof of work, disappeared. Yeah, this is a good video. Clean your machine. This video changed my life when I watched it in 2022. It's crazy. You know what I mean? But there will never be. I mean, again, he did this when there was just enough technology, but not enough for him to get caught. You know what I mean? He was like in that Goldilocks zone. Now it's the cat's out of the bag. We'll never be able to duplicate this again. It was just incredible timing when he did it during the financial crisis. Did it in the dark. Nobody really cared about it for the first year and some change, 2 years between the beginning of 2008 when he started creating it, all the way to the white paper, all the way into the guy Laszlo sold it for pizzas and stuff like that. And now look at it. You know what I mean? Again, this thing will never be duplicated, in my opinion.
You know, if you're talking about something that is in metaphorical orbit here, where there is no decay within the system or no energy loss within the system, when compared to everything else, I don't know if you can improve upon that much more. If you can get a spacecraft to orbit, I don't know how much better you can improve on it already getting to orbit. It seems that Bitcoin is it, and that we're not going to be able to replicate it. You know, in the same way with the Mona Lisa, if you create a copy of the Mona Lisa, you don't double the supply of Mona Lisas. You simply create an inferior replica that only emphasizes the original beauty and the original uniqueness of the original. And so even if somebody recreated Bitcoin today exactly perfectly, I don't think it could survive. You know, we've seen other examples, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, and Litecoin, and all sorts of other attempts to recreate Bitcoin, and they've all failed. They've all crashed 99% against Bitcoin, and it seems that they're not stopping anytime soon. And so outside human control, we already referenced that. And so basically, with the double spend problem that I was referring to earlier, and the fraud baked into the system, Bitcoin solves the double spend problem. When fiat is the double spend problem, cash, you know, USD or whatever your local currency is, that is the double spend problem. Well, Bitcoin is the antidote to the double spend problem. These are inherently contradictory systems. Bitcoin solves the problem of creating a system that retains its energy in a thermodynamic sense, that works in a form of energy, a form of money, and a form of weapons, and nothing else succeeds in this. Gold does not succeed in this. Other materials and metals do not succeed in this. Real estate does not succeed in this. And so instead of living in a world akin to today, where you have cash declining faster than the decline of cost of prosperity, and having us chase yield through a mixed basket, a diversified portfolio of investments to catch up, instead, the future world, what it will look like is everyone just has a share in a global computer system of information and energy storage that has finite units, while everything else, all the assets and all everything else we were referring to earlier in these old slides, continue to go to zero forever. And so the old paradigm, aka the current paradigm, is a world where money goes down, okay, the value of money goes down, and the value of assets go up. Stocks seemingly go up forever because the value of money is going down. They're not increasing.
It'll never be duplicated. They will make sure nothing like this would ever happen again anyway. Yeah, exactly. So that's why they had to embrace it. It took them a while to embrace it, but they did it reluctantly. But thank God Trump came in, because Trump's like, you know what, we got to do this. You know, we got to get this stuff on our balance sheet. And I completely agree with you. I don't think this thing will ever be duplicated. The closest thing to Bitcoin is what? Litecoin, Bitcoin Trash, and BSV. And I do mean BSV. Okay? Other than that, Ethereum's and all this other stuff, there's nothing to do with Bitcoin. And those three I just named, you know, they're just, like you said, a copy of the Mona Lisa. This stuff will never, again, if you're just getting into Bitcoin, this is what you need to understand, right? Study Bitcoin, forget about all the cryptocurrencies and all the, you know, the what is it? The stable coins and NFTs and all that crap. Just study Bitcoin. I'm telling you, you will not go wrong.
That much over the money, but it seems that they are in nominal terms because the value of currencies is going down so very much. So instead of living in the world today where the value of money goes down and forces asset prices to go up, which therefore means we hold assets for savings and we diversify our trust in a mixed basket of assets, you know, in indices of stocks or a variety of bonds, or, you know, however you diversify your portfolio. Instead of that old paradigm, we are entering a new paradigm where the money increases in value over time, because instead of having an infinite supply, it's a finite supply, which it's complete opposite, and it forces asset prices to go down, which means instead of diversifying your time and your economic purchasing power across assets, you're holding money for savings instead of holding assets for savings. And instead of having to trust a variety of people, whether they're central bankers or CEOs or regulatory institutions or whatever they are, you can simply verify. You can run your own node, your own miners and your own computers, and verify the network, and that, yes, everything is, all transactions are legitimate, there's no double spend problem, and the system is finite. And the more people that do that, the more secure the system becomes, and it's a vicious feedback loop. But basically, this is the transition we're looking at here. Instead of money going down and assets going up forever, we're looking at money going up and assets going down forever. See, this makes perfect sense to people. People say stocks go up forever, real estate goes up forever, all these things go up forever. And the only thing that's changing is that instead of money going down forever and assets going up forever, now we have a system that can create finite supply in which the money goes up and the assets go down forever. And so the basic way to put this in a simple couple sentences here is that infinite money is fighting technology to make assets more finite. We have houses drive off the market. When you have infinite money, you are incentivized to have assets become more finite because it forces prices to go up and preserve credit for as long as possible. Where if you have a finite money, aka Bitcoin, it compounds the rate of technological growth to make infinite assets. And this is really important to understand because since if Bitcoin survives everything else going to zero, and it seems that there's no realistic way to destroy it, that means that the rate of technological change is just going to get faster and faster, because as we have a technologically native system that reinforces the rate of technological expansion, it means that the rate of fraud in the old system and the cash system, where there's an increasing amount of supply, only has to get worse. It means inflation has to get worse. All these things have to get worse over time. And so people will fight it. It will be it will be extremely resisted and tested against society, and it already is. But the important thing to understand and to emphasize here again is that, again, using the black hole metaphor, you can kill a planet by throwing a brute force physical cost at it. Say I were to throw an asteroid at a planet at a quarter of the speed of light, I would destroy the planet, it would completely obliterate it. But if you do that to a black hole, it just absorbs your mass and energy. Where if you take stocks and bonds and other assets like cash or gold and you throw...
That's the difference. You hear that? Or an alien, yeah. You hear that that phrase? He said Bitcoin's like the black hole. That's what it is. Again, you can throw a big asteroid into a planet, right? Like stocks, bonds, cash, and all that, and it'll blow up. But with Bitcoin, you're just throwing it into a black hole.
Already is. But the important thing to understand and to emphasize here again is that, again, using the black hole metaphor, you can kill a planet.
Because they haven't studied $1.50. That's why. That's why. That's the only reason. They have no idea what it is, buddy.
By throwing a brute force physical cost at it, say I were to throw an asteroid at a planet at a quarter of the speed of light, I would destroy the planet, it would completely obliterate it. But if you do that to a black hole, it just absorbs your mass and energy. Where if you take stocks and bonds and other assets like cash or gold and you throw energy at it, you can corrupt them. You can, this is the honeypot problem. This is the Cantillon effect. These are all these economic realities that if you throw energy at it, you can eventually distort it to where it's detached from reality. But if you throw hash power at Bitcoin, you try to censor it, you try to stop it, all you're doing is you're throwing more energy at it and you're making it stronger. That's the significance of an open versus a closed system. If you throw energy at an open system, you just make the leak bigger. If you throw energy at a closed system, it just continues to bounce around within that system forever.
Wow. Let me play that again. That was a bar right there.
More energy at it and you're making it stronger. That's the significance of an open versus a closed system. If you throw energy at an open system, you just make the leak bigger. If you throw energy at a closed system, it just continues to bounce around within that system forever and reinforce the strength and the value and the energy within that system. And understanding this difference between open and closed energy and monetary systems is the great threat and opportunity of the century, in my opinion. And this should be exciting because it means, if all these wonderful indicators of prosperity are going to zero, it means that life will become more prosperous in the future for far cheaper in ways that we can't even fathom. But the reality is that it probably will be brutal. There will be extreme switching costs. Again, think of when people went from farmers to industry, or even think of our own lifetimes with the internet. Any company that did not adopt the internet died. Any country or any individual that did not adopt the internet has not been able to keep up. There are real switching costs, and that's the whole reason why I'm making this video and talking about it. We'll resist it until the very final moment, and unfortunately, that's not going to be a good idea for most people here.
Wow. That was the end of part 2. Like I said, I edited it and broke it up into 3 parts. You can go on break now, Scorpion. But yeah, I'm gonna spin the wheel. So if you win, I'll just put your name on it. But yeah, that is incredible, man. Incredible. Like I said, this video changed my life when I watched it. Dang, teacher won't let me go pee-pee. You can go ahead, man. But this last part, this third part, that's when he gets into the juicy part. Real juicy. All right, so let's do some spins here. Do I have anybody new that I'm missing? clean your machine. I think Aiden might have left, so I might have to take him off the list. I paid him his sats though. Aiden, you're not here anymore, right, little buddy? I'll keep him on though. Who cares? All right, so let's do some spins. Is anybody's name not on the list? Because we're gonna finish up this third part, and this is when we're gonna bring it home. All right, so I got to do about 7 spins. So let's do the first one. This is for block 786. Good luck, everybody. Congratulations. I summoned. Hey, what's up? Do I got you on here? I got to put you on here, buddy. YA. I summoned Satoshi. You still here, my friend? Hey, you're here. Okay, good. Smoke him if you got him. Yep. Go ahead, take a break for a couple minutes if you want. Or run in place or bring your phone with you. Oh, no problem, man. You got him. Good. Good. You're just checking in. Okay, no problem. I summon Sats. Are you here, my friend? Because if you're not, I'm going to do that spin over again. But let's do 787. Got to give him to somebody. Zach. Congratulations, Zach. All right, 788. 788 for Jor. Jor is definitely going to win this one. Zach. Wow. What are the chances? Thank you. Somebody just sent me 100 sats. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. No problem. Thank you so much. I got to hear some sats. Oh, thank you. Oh, congrats. I got to go. Here's some. Oh, thank you. Aiden, you don't got to give me nothing, man. But thank you, bro. Okay, let's do another one for 789. Let's do it. They're going to finish out that video, and then we're going to talk about it. This last part, he's going to bring it home. Yeah, Zach is killing. I summoned Satoshi again. I don't think he's here. So, peace, love, the stream, and the sats. No problem, man. No problem. All right. We might have to end up doing these two again for him. But I'll do 790. You got to be kidding me. Wow. Coming again. Okay. Has he responded yet? Bye, Megan. I'll give you a whole bacon to not play part 3. This is 2, yes. Well, I mean, you know, I don't know what a whole bacon is. Is that a piece of bacon or is that? I don't understand. All right, let's do 91. Might have to do 3 more because I summoned 1-3. Zach. All right. Okay, we're at 92 now. So let me do spin 92. Wow, Zach, you're killing it, buddy. It's always somebody's night on this freaking spin, the spinner. It was Corey the other night. Sadie. Congratulations, Sadie. Sadie, are you still here, young lady, or no? Oh, Bitcoin. Oh, sorry. I clearly said Bitcoin, but you love food so much that you saw bacon, pizza man. Well, you're always talking about food. That's why. So, Sadie, are you still here? While we're waiting on Sadie, let's do 3 more spins. This is for makeup for 786 because I Summons is not here. 786. I runs New York. I runs New York. Congratulations, sir. Now this is for 789. Corey. Congratulations. Congratulations. I runs New York. Corey. All right, and this is for 790. Wow. Yay. Okay. I had some bacon today. It was delicious. Yeah. All right. Looks like Sadie is not here. Sadie, you left? You got to send me your you got to send me your address. So close, I know. All right, so let me spin again for Sadie. She's not here. You got to be here to win, guys. You got to be here and paying attention. Capital Currency. Congratulations. Are you here, sir? Are you here? Let me queue up part 3.
way to think about it is comparing the
Capital Currency going once, going twice. Sucks to suck Sadie. Could be reading that wrong. All right, well, let me do another one. Looks like Capital Currency's not here. I'm going to leave that one alone. All right, let's do it. This last one. Somebody's got to be here. You got to be here to win, guys. Congrats. Just missing that comma. Congratulations, Neo. Are you here, sir? Just put Y if you're here. See what big. Congrats, Sadie. Well, Sadie is not here. Oh, we had another block come out. 793. So we got to do another one. All right, let's do 793 while we're waiting on Neo. I don't think he's here though. 793. Bacon booty. Bacon booty. Speaking of bacon, congratulations. Drove my Mercedes today. Oh boy, must be nice. I can't spell Mercedes, man. All right, so we're gonna do 792 again. Neo went back to the Matrix. I think he did, man. All right, let's do. You're so funny, George. 792. Let's do it. Look at Megan congratulating everybody. Scorpion. All right, I know you're here. You're just on a break. All right, the last part, guys. This one, it gets into the meat and potatoes. Meg girl, you're so behind. She's just reading through the comments. All right, let's watch this last part and let's keep on learning.
to the horse, and that none of us And so a good way to think about it is comparing the locomotive to the horse, and that none of us want the horse because all of our economic interests are in maintaining the horse. We want to see our asset prices go up forever. We don't want to believe that Bitcoin is an existential threat. However, that's the reality. It is an existential threat, and it's coming whether we like it or not. We can try to race our horse against it and pat ourselves on the back and think that, it's just a silly fad that's going to go away, but that's not the reality of what's going on here, because we have a hard time of understanding new tech. And it's not going to be a competition because, again, if we come back to open versus closed systems, we can't understand how Bitcoin fits within the current system, which is an open system or a series of open systems, because it doesn't fit. It's a closed system. We've not seen anything like it before. To give another metaphor here, this is one I really like, is if you have a bunch of ships with different sizes of leaks, that's basically the world we're in today. You have a diversified portfolio of assets because all these assets have different pros and cons. They have different rates of decay. They have different degrees to which entropy is coming after them and attacking them and eroding them. Again, for example, cash is eroding faster than stocks, and gold erodes slower than, say, bonds, for example. It is easier to increase the supply of cash or bonds versus real estate or stocks or gold, and that's why these assets tend to go up in price against those other assets. But if you have all these ships with leaks, they're all going to sink. They're all going to continue going down. Even if real estate prices go up in terms against the U.S. dollar, the real purchasing power of real estate continues to go down because technology gets better and they become more affordable as our technology becomes more efficient and our availability to use energy becomes more efficient. But if you have one ship among all of these ships, if you just have one ship with zero leaks, with zero energy loss, that is thermodynamically sound and is a closed system where there's no water entering the system, that means it is the only ship worth being on.
I used that in one of my videos. I forgot about that. I did a short. I want to see if I can find it. Let me play this real quick. As soon as I heard that, I was like, wow. Hold on. I don't want to be that guy, but I got to be that guy real quick. Hold on. It's a short I made. Every single one of them, gold and silver, are leaking energy. Fiat currency is just sinking. It's almost underwater. Stocks, bonds, traditional financial instruments, they're all leaking, man. They all are. There's only one boat that you can jump on that has absolutely no leaks. Not only does it not have any leaks, it might float above the water. It start floating in midair. Okay? And I'm serious. And it's only one thing. And I think you guys already know what it is. If you want to put your money and your energy and your life, your finite life, into something that will not only hold on to your purchasing power, but increase your purchasing power throughout your life, ladies and gentlemen, there's only one way to go. And I want you to say it with me. It's the best way to save. And for me, the only way to save. And that's Bitcoin. I love each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love, guys. That just brought back me memory. Sorry, guys.
All these 99 ships will, sink at different rates. Maybe some sink in seconds, and others take hours, and others take years. But the end result is the same. They're all going down. They're all going to zero against this one ship. And so once you realize that Bitcoin doesn't fit within the current system, once you realize that this is the only ship worth being on because it's the only finite thing we have, you abandon whichever system you view as inferior, which, in my opinion, are all of these 99 ships. And so, it's important to emphasize here that Bitcoin's adoption rate is 80% faster than the internet. We're already 14 years in. People say, oh, the internet took 30 years, say from 1990 to 2020, and so Bitcoin will probably take 30 years too. And I agree with that, but the problem is we're already 14 years in. Bitcoin's already 14 years old. Its hash rate is near all-time high. Addresses and its distribution are at all-time highs. All the metrics of the network are growing and improving. And the only reason people think it's dead is because they're trading it like a tech stock. They are trading this one ship like the other 99 ships because they don't understand it yet. And if you think about it objectively, it does make no sense. These people are trading Bitcoin like a tech stock, which has a board and it has a marketing plan, it has a product market fit, it has all these things that Bitcoin doesn't have. Bitcoin isn't a stock. It isn't a company. It doesn't have anything to sell you. It doesn't have any yield. It's not trying to make profits. It just is a series of ones and zeros convertible for energy through the proof of work consensus of the system. And so it's absurd to me that people trade Bitcoin like a tech stock, and that's going to be viewed as something completely ludicrous by future generations and future people, because that's basically like selling off trains because stagecoach valuations are down. Stagecoach valuations basically metaphorically here being like tech stocks or things like that, and you're selling off trains.
Shout out to everyone spending their Thursday night watching a video about Bitcoin. Rare breed. Listen, that's absolutely true. I mean, when everybody else is calling us lucky or evil or whatever, when we spent time to do this because we put the work in, this is the proof of work. And it's not like we didn't tell you guys about this, the people that are going to be criticizing us. They're gonna be saying stuff about us that's just not true. But again, while everybody else is partying or watching TV, watching nonsense, doing nonsense, wasting time, this is the time we're putting in. We're studying. So great point, Joe. I'm very, very, very proud of all you guys.
Because this isn't. It's comparing apples and oranges. It makes absolutely no sense at all. Right now when I film this, Bitcoin's price against the U.S. dollar is down dramatically, and people think, oh, Bitcoin's dead. Every single day, basically, I get comments or questions. Why is Bitcoin dying? Why is Bitcoin dead? And the important thing to understand here is that Bitcoin is not declining. It is that the dollar is having an unprecedented rally due to the quantitative tightening from the Federal Reserve, and this is destroying dozens of exchanges. FTX was the most recent one at the time of filming that collapsed. All these things are dying because FTX, as an example, had its own token, the FTT token, and what they did is they created it out of thin air. It was an open system. They had fraud on their books, and what happened is their fraud eventually came back to Earth. They had this imaginary token orbiting around the Earth, but because it had a rate of decay, it eventually came back to its true value, which was zero. And so,
again, during this recording of this video, this is right after the FTX crash. I believe it was like he recorded this like December 22nd. The video came out December 22nd. I don't know exactly when he recorded it, but this is when all that stuff was going on. And I'm not gonna lie, man, I was only in less than 2 years at the time, and I was a little bit scared. I wasn't too scared, but I was a little bit scared because I wasn't my conviction wasn't anywhere near where it's at now. Again, I still had medals and stuff like that, but man, if I knew what I know now, oh my goodness.
if we compare that to the dollar here in a similar nature, over here in this very, very bottom right corner, this purple line going up here is Bitcoin's recent price decline, or in this case, it is the rally of the dollar against Bitcoin. An unprecedented quantitative tightening where the Federal Reserve has risen rates at the fastest rate ever in American history. This is all they've been able to do, is just this little increase in the dollar's value against Bitcoin, and people fail to realize how much the dollar has fallen in value against Bitcoin. This is a logarithmic chart comparing sats, aka Satoshis, against that of the dollar. And you can see when you could have traded 2 million Satoshis for a single dollar, now you can barely trade 5,000 Satoshis for $1.
Did you guys hear that? Yes, you won. Did you guys hear that? Back then he said
against that of the dollar. And you can see when you could have traded 2 million Satoshis for a single dollar, now you can barely trade 5,000 Satoshis for $1.
2 million Satoshis for $1 back then. Can you imagine that? Right. And then at the end of 2022, we were getting almost 5,000 Satoshis, like 4,800 or 4,900 for $1. Right. And now look, we're getting 1,200 and we're happy about it. Now, again, this was 2 years. Yes, this was 2 years, and something to go, about 2 years, 4 months, something like that. But in perspective, looking at it from that situation, from 5,000 to 1,200, is going to be nothing compared to what it's going to be in a few years. Now, imagine what we're going to be in the year 2030 or 2028 or something like that. These 1,200 sats that you're getting for a measly cuck buck right now, people are not going to believe you, right? when we hit $1 million, guys, we're only getting 100 Satoshis per dollar. That's it. You know, when we hit 250,000, we're getting 400 Satoshis. 500,000. Yep. So, you know, again, it's all about perspective and where you're looking at it from. But I was buying back then. I wish I would have sold all of my precious metals, but I didn't because I wasn't there enough. And this is why, like George said, you gotta put in the hours to study, right? You gotta put in the work because again, I'm the same person as I was a couple years ago, except I just didn't have the information and the knowledge, and that didn't give me my conviction. So you got to study. Long story short.
People say, oh, Bitcoin's crashing, blah, blah, blah. But that's because their time horizon is this very last moment here. When if you zoom out, you see clearly the dollar is declining against Bitcoin in the same way that all these other assets are declining against Bitcoin, in the same way that all these assets are declining against Bitcoin. The dollar is declining against Bitcoin. And everyone's scared to buy Bitcoin right now, when in reality, it's an excellent time to buy because, look, we're at multi-year highs of the dollar against Bitcoin. So obviously there's always volatility as with all these other systems, but when you have a finite system versus an infinite system, the trend is clear. And so basically the implications of this are massive. Every model lasts 4,000 years is done. It's over. The whole idea of getting yield on your money and pursuing returns on your money because your money is degrading and losing energy as a function of time, that this whole mentality that we don't even realize we have is completely over. In the same way that the horse was the dominant transportation system for thousands of years, the locomotive completely obliterates it, and now we don't even think twice about it. Whereas, at the time, it was completely absurd and incredibly difficult for people to wrap their heads around here. In the same way, that narrative is over. Whether we're talking about Sumerian tablets that were able to have the double spend problem and were an open system, whether we're talking about salt for, say, the Egyptians or or for ancient Babylon or Persia, or we're talking about bonds or cash for modern systems. These are all open systems, and this era of open systems appears to be ending. Now appears to be an ideal time because we are buying before companies and nations that transition to the new system and fight over it.
Well, as of this recording, yeah, right. We were buying before companies and nations. He's going to talk about strategy here in a second, but we're still early though. So if you're new, in relatively speaking, we are still early. Now we're farther along on the adoption curve than this video was recorded, right? Because again, basically no nations were buying back then, but now El Salvador did, but now we got a strategic Bitcoin reserve right now, and we're getting ready to take off when it comes to them buying Bitcoin. And once America does it, everybody's going to follow. The dam is going to be broken when that happens. So we're still, relatively speaking, we're still early.
So I encourage you, imagine a world where, just a very small number of companies and a very small number of nations begin to realize this dynamic of open versus closed systems and begin to realize that Bitcoin is truly the only finite asset humanity has ever been able to create. Imagine what would happen if all these companies start buying Bitcoin and hold it for 1,000 years, like, say, MicroStrategy has done, where it's just creating an infinite amount of stock, an infinite amount of fiat currency, an infinite amount of all these other things to buy as much finite Bitcoin as possible. Right now, everyone is scared to buy because the dollar has rallied against Bitcoin this much down here. Everyone's terrified of buying Bitcoin because they don't like seeing the number of political currency units, aka US dollars, going down, when in reality this is comparing stagecoaches to the locomotive. It is completely nonsensical once you understand the nature of these two systems. But people are scared to buy, and my encouragement to you is not to wait until everyone's scared not to buy. You don't want to wait until that's the case. Before we wrap up here, just to give you some idea of how scarce this is, there are 4 million Bitcoin left. There will only ever be 21 million total, but between the 2 million Bitcoin left on exchanges and the 2 million Bitcoin left to be mined, there are 4 million Bitcoin left to be claimed ever. What happens when 4 million of the 65 million millionaires in the world want 1 Bitcoin? Okay, what happens to the other 61 million millionaires? They can't buy any. Okay, what happens when 400 of the 100 million companies in the world, just 400, not 400,000, not 40,000, not 4,000, 400, want 10,000 Bitcoin? Okay, that's all of them. What happens when 4 of the 200 countries in the world decide, you know what, we're going to print as much money as we can, our currency's dying anyway, we're going to print as much money as we can, and we're going to buy as much Bitcoin as possible, say 1 million Bitcoin. Okay, and what happens when all 3 of these things happen at once? Okay, remember, Bitcoin is a monetary network, is an energy network, and it's a weapons system, okay? And so when you have the individual, the private sector, and the public sector all vying for the same amount of finite units within a closed system, nobody is ready for the implications of this. It is completely unbelievable.
And this is why, guys, I say we're still early, right? We are still early. For those of you that have just come in and you think that, oh my God, Bitcoin's 80 something thousand, I can only get 1,200 Satoshis instead of 5,000 or 2 million or whatever. Listen, all this stuff that he's talking about, it has not happened yet. But I'm telling you, it is going to happen, right? Like, look what George just said here. 2 million sats for $1, right? And then that's a month's salary in Canada now. Okay, these 1,200 Satoshis that you're getting today will be a month's salary in a few years. It will, probably in a decade, maybe less. So again, all this stuff, those scenarios in a finite closed system, in a finite scarce unit. I mean, my gosh, man, all your sats, you're going to be looking back and go, I can't believe Jerry was giving out 100 sats per roll every 10 minutes. You're not going to believe that. Your kids are not going to believe it. I know it seems, it's only 8 cents, 9 cents or whatever. It is going to have so much purchasing power in the future. It's going to blow your mind. Truly ahead of his time. Yes, he was ahead of his time. That's why this video blew me away, man. Exciting times. Absolutely. Booyah. A year ago, I was terrified. Yeah, we all were, but as the adoption curve goes and your time in, because I know people that were in Bitcoin before me, but they didn't put the work in like me, and they didn't put the work in like you. You know people that were in before you, but they're not doing what we're doing right now, like George said. So keep working, keep studying, keep stacking, and keep teaching, and repeat.
And it's important to remember, Bitcoin went from 6 cents per Bitcoin to roughly $70,000 with only a few million users. Okay, what happens when there's 500x the users, all of these people fighting over an ever decreasing amount of supply within the system? This is the difference between an open and closed system that takes months, if not years, to dawn on people of simply how scarce this thing is. I don't emphasize this arbitrarily. I emphasize it to make it perfectly clear that none of us have experienced a closed system with finite supply before. There's nothing on Earth to compare it to. In the same way that a locomotive, there's nothing to compare it to. There's nothing to compare Bitcoin to now. And people say this is cliche and everything like that, and I understand why people think that, but you simply have to understand that new technology is always inconceivable for people that are living in old technology. If all you understand is the horse and the cow and the sheep and the oxen, all you know are muscles that move mass and energy over space. The whole idea of having a non-living mechanical machine move 10 times faster at 1/10 the cost for 10 times longer, it's completely absurd. It makes no sense. And in the same
Yeah, now people that are living in this world today that look back at people riding on horses instead of, driving cars or trains or something like that, when you go look back at it, they kind of look ridiculous, right? That's how in 100 years they're going to look back on us. They're like, you use dollars, you use the fiat currency system, use the banking system with fiat dollars. You took the dollars off the gold. You guys used to use gold as a store of value. They're going to think it's silly because it is.
regard here, none of us are ready for this. Bitcoin went from 6 cents to 70,000 with a few million users. And what happens when all these other people, even just marginal numbers of these groups, decide, I need an exposure to this closed system just in case it continues to survive and it continues to take off. So how is this inconceivable, people? If I were to tell you that Bitcoin is going to any given price, $1 million, $5 million, $100 million a coin, people might laugh, and it seems absurd. It seems unbelievable. And the reason for that is because you're comparing two systems that should not be compared. You're pricing a horse in terms of locomotives, or locomotives in terms of horses. It doesn't compute in human brains. The only way to look at it is to detach your understanding of looking at one system through another system. You can't judge one system from within the lens and the confines of a different system, either a more advanced or less advanced system. And so that's why these things seem absurd to people. And so my encouragement to you is, don't value Bitcoin in dollars. Don't think of Bitcoin as being $100 million to $16,000 or $500 or $50,000 or it's you're only making it more difficult on yourself. And I would encourage you to instead think of wealth in terms of energy. Don't think of your wealth in terms of dollars. Think of it in terms of energy.
And I'll add to that. measure your wealth in Satoshis, right? Because all money is your life, and your life is energy, period, right? And the hardest money in the world is Satoshis. The best place to put your energy in is Satoshis, like George said with the battery analogy. You know, the best battery is Satoshis, Bitcoin. You know, so value your wealth and energy, and the best energy is Satoshis.
prosperity, time, your standard of living. That's the way to think about energy. And then when you realize the energy is flowing from open to closed systems forever, the flow of energy becomes clear. And then you realize, oh, it is obvious that the one ship that is not sinking is going to absorb all the passengers from all the other ships that are sinking. It is an inevitable result. And so this intrinsic bias towards the existing paradigm is exactly what makes it so difficult and unbelievable for people to explain. It's precisely why videos like this have to be so long, because it's incredibly difficult for people to understand this. You have to put it in so many different metaphors and make it as simple as possible for people. And so I want to share a brief clip here between two Bitcoiners and one news anchor here, where they're trying to explain this, and it's simply not getting through. So I encourage you to watch a short clip here.
But you can't increase the supply of Bitcoin. So if you look at the world currencies, they're inflating at 10% or more a year for the past 30 years, maybe as much as 14% a year. You can expect they'll keep inflating for the next 30 years. And so Bitcoin measured in currencies of the world and in currency derivatives is just going to keep going up with volatility, albeit.
Sure, but forever, Samson, nothing goes up forever. You have a fixed supply of gold as well. I mean, this sounds like something someone might say at the peak, you could argue.
Gold is not fixed, Deirdre, right? Gold is increasing in supply at 2% a year in the physical regime, and bankers can rehypothecate gold, and they can print 100 ounces of paper gold for every real ounce of gold. And so Bitcoin is the dominant digital monetary network, and because it's dominant and because it's fixed, it means that it's the most reliable, highest integrity, scarcest thing in the financial universe.
It's going up. Does it go up forever, Deirdre? I'm stuck on this point. I want to hear both of you say or not say that it's going to go up forever. Samson, go ahead.
It's going up forever, Deirdre. Forever.
I mean, Michael, do you agree with that? You're going to stand behind that comment? Going up forever?
Bitcoin is going up forever, Deirdre.
Guys, come on. This sounds like something someone would say at the peak, no? I mean, Michael, didn't you say before it would hit 5 million? 5 million's not infinity.
Deirdre, in Argentina, the dollar used to trade at $1 per peso. And now the dollar is approaching 200 pesos. The dollar is going up forever against the peso. The dollar's gone up forever against the Venezuelan bolivar. So a strong asset is going to go up against a weak asset forever. And since we know that nobody in the universe can create any more Bitcoin, and since we know that every political nation state is going to create more currency, it isn't really that much of a stretch to say that measured in the currencies of nation states, Bitcoin is just going to continue to appreciate.
And that's the essence of the argument here. And so if you understand this, which you may not yet, but if you do understand this dynamic, you're roughly the first per 1,000 people on Earth to understand it. And my warning or my encouragement to you is to educate as many people as you can, as quickly as you can, because by the time it reaches about 5 to 20% of the population to understand this and begin selling off their infinite assets in exchange for this finite asset, that's probably going to rip open the tear in the system. Again, think of it.
I haven't met anyone that has seriously got into studying Bitcoin, like seriously 100 hours to 1,000 hours or whatever, that didn't sell everything they had that wasn't nailed to the floor for Bitcoin. Again, you won't find a man that loved precious metals as much as me. I loved me some silvers. Go back to watch my videos. But once, and this video helped me. This was the train that got me going. Once I really understood the scarcity of this thing, and like he's talking about, Bitcoin reaching 5 to 20%. But again, that green light, like George says, comes on. It doesn't shut off, right? It just doesn't. And when I figured it out, I was selling everything that wasn't nailed to the floor. You know, and imagine what other people are going to be doing. But again, people are on their journey. There's plenty of people that have Bitcoin on Coinbase or on a little wallet, and they're just not even paying attention to it. But once they put in the hours like us, my goodness, watch out. He is telling the truth. He was picking up silver like crazy. Yeah, go back. And I don't take any of my videos down. So you guys know, if anybody, precious metals, everybody's got something, either their stock or their real estate or something. If you got over 100 to 1,000 hours in, you realize when you say there's no second best, he's not just talking about cryptocurrency, Michael Saylor. He's talking about everything. So if you know this is the one true thing, that it's a system outside the system and it's in a closed system, why would you put any other energy into anything else? It doesn't make any sense.
Like a sinking ship, if you have this high percentage of people that are leaving the system, that causes a collapse in demand enough that it basically causes the whole thing to fall apart. I mean, think about the bond market, think about stocks, think about cash. All these things are reliant on trust. The United States has a system reliant on fiduciary trust, and so if you have even
Somebody just sent me a fat zap of 5,000 sats. Whoever did that, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you.
percentages this small of 5%, 10%, or at least what seems small to us, that could be enough to then have us immediately have a capitulation event where everyone defaults to the next reserve system. And so my encouragement to you is that most people will never own more than 50,000 sats in their lifetime.
Clean your machine. Okay. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. You didn't have to do that, bro. Thank you so much, man. Anytime you need me to talk to him or whatever on the phone or anything, just come holler at me. I appreciate that. But did you hear what he just said? Did you? Let me. This is why I'm talking about these Satoshi. This is why I make Satoshi Saturday. Listen to what he said.
A capitulation event where everyone defaults to the next reserve system. And so my encouragement to you is that most people will never own more than 50,000 sats in their lifetime.
Most people won't own 50,000 sats in their lifetime. Thank you, bro. You're awesome too. So is Aiden. 50,000 sats. How much is that today? No problem, brother. How much is 50,000 sats today? People won't own that in their lifetime. I made a Satoshi Saturday video that broke down how many Satoshis you need and, what's wealthy, rich, and, average and stuff like that. People do not understand that this is a finite supply of something, that the supply is going down and the number of people in the world is going up. The population is growing. The amount of people are dying are less ratio of the people that are being born. We're at 8.1 billion people and counting, right? These are all going to be future Bitcoiners. So every Satoshi that you're taking off the market, my goodness, man. Again, man, just keep studying. Keep doing what you got to do. Corey did 2x that in months. Yes. Yep. And everybody's, people making fun of him for only buying $1 a day. He's getting 1,200 Satoshis every single day. Again, that's going to be somebody's monthly salary, right? If somebody can only get 50,000 for their whole life, think about it. For their lifetime, I'm going to play it again. Crazy. Hard to get my head around still, just to how much sats is going to be worth in the near future. Crazy. Yeah. And it's going to happen fast, guys. Fast. Again, we got to get prepared to what life is going to be like for us in the future. Of course, people want to be wealthy and rich and everything else. That's probably not why most of us are doing it, because of our family and stuff. But we are going to be very wealthy. If you have 1 million Satoshis, this is why I don't even talk about Bitcoin, right? Who cares about getting one Bitcoin? Like, it says, just get as many Satoshis as humanly possible, man. 50K sats is about 4. Yeah. $40. Yep. No problem, bro. BTC is an IQ test, a real IQ test. Yes. Jerry, would you ever live stream for 24 hours straight? Like stupid Cory Booker? No. Let's play that again. That's crazy.
To then have us immediately have a capitulation event where everyone defaults to the next reserve system. And so my encouragement to you is that most people will never own more than 50,000 sats in their lifetime. And I'm not going to go into the math of how we can determine that now, but basically when you divide when you take the total number of Bitcoins and you subtract lost Bitcoins, you subtract Bitcoins that are already claimed for and everything else, basically the average person probably will own roughly 50,000 sats, maybe more, maybe less, in their entire lifetime's worth of earning. Okay. And today I'm filming this in the year of 2022. Bitcoin's price is $16,000 roughly. It fluctuates, of course, but 50,000 sats is $8 today. And so you don't have to fully understand Bitcoin.
I'm going to play that again. This was I runs New York. This was December 2022. This was during the FTX crash. FTX crashed early November 2022. I runs New York. And again, because we were so early in the Bitcoin phase, yes, 2022, end of 2022, that nobody knew what it has. The only reason Bitcoin's price is quote unquote low as it is, because Bitcoin should be $1 million. Okay, $1 million right now. If everybody knew what it was, actually probably way more than that, but at least $1 million. But when FTX crashed, people thought FTX had something to do with Bitcoin and they didn't know what it was up and everybody was selling. Again, they fell for the FUD. But for the people that were here during that time and you not only held on, but you packed your bags, salute to you, sir.
Bitcoin's price is $16,000 roughly lifetime's worth of earning. Okay. And today I'm filming this in the year of 2022. Bitcoin's price is $16,000 roughly. It fluctuates, of course, but 50,000 sats is $8 today. And so you don't have to fully understand Bitcoin. But my encouragement is, at the very least, just get a little bit. Just get something. Just don't stay on zero.
It was $8 back then, and now it's $40 today. Just saying, man. Is this person a bot? Should I create a single wallet for each of my relatives? How much would you put in? 1 million sats? Well, I have my own personal plan. But what I would do, Buck, if I were you, is I would write down your closest people that you have to you that you just absolutely love, right? Just absolutely love them. And even if they don't listen to you and stuff like that, because I plan on giving out my closest people, my loved ones, my relatives. I have a list of about 150. George says yes. I have a list of 150 people that I'm very, very close with, or their family members or loved ones, and I'm going to give them a certain amount of Bitcoin based on how much I love them and their age and stuff like that. So, yeah, I would do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like we do here, and I'm going to make them study. I'm just not going to give them anything. I'm going to make them study. Now, if I'll put it in there for something that happens if I die or something like that, yeah. But they're gonna have to learn about the bot. Oh yeah, okay. I misunderstood you. Okay, let me get him out of here. Let me see. Get this fool out of here. Man, user. I figure he was. And yeah, because some people are just not going to do it, so you're gonna have to do it for them. But they're going to have to put some work in, answer some questions, stuff like that, because a lot of these people will just get in there and just sell it for fiat. You know what I mean? I think we're related. Yeah, me too, man. Yep. You told us to use FTX. Can you show me the video where I told you to use FTX to troll? Put it on here. Put it on the link in the chat, and I'll play it. Bye bye. Yes, bye bye. When you delete one, 10 others will spawn. Okay. Sorry, I was slacking. It's all good, bro. It's all good. Listen, we all get Bitcoin at the price we deserve. I heard about it in 2017. I didn't buy it. I just thought it was a scam. Didn't do anything. But keep on studying, Scorpion. Keep on studying, my friend. But this is going to be life changing. You know what really hit me, and I'm going to play the video in a second. I love precious metals and everything, and I don't knock them or stuff like that. But I know that we're in a digital world, and the thing that I'm scared about the most is those central bank digital currencies. And the only thing that's going to stop central bank digital currencies, I'll give you a hint, it's not precious metals in a digital world. Just saying, and it ain't Ethereum either.
So if you do understand it, and you do understand this dynamic here that has just been explained here, I encourage you to buy like crazy to make money. You'll make a lot of money if you understand what you're buying here and you hold it forever and you have proper security and you control your own keys. If you do this right, you can make a lot of money. You can get rich. But the important thing, the far more important thing, is to share the message with others because you want to warn them, you care about them, and you want to help them lower their risk because they have a diversified portfolio of assets that supply is trending towards infinity, and therefore their price or the exchange rate is going to continue to trend towards zero. And that's why I make this.
Otis is in the house. What's up, Otis? Make sure you guys go subscribe to Otis. Otis Hare Jr. It's a lot of stuff, Otis, for sure. Thanks for coming in, man. Always good to see you, bro. I know you're working hard out there, man. Make more videos, Otis. Let me look at you. I said this yesterday. I don't know if you were here. Make more videos, please, sir. Thank you. Yeah, we just got to keep learning and keep stacking, man. For real.
Video personally to see your own family, church, and anyone possible to get off zero. The more people and the more individuals that can get off zero before governments and larger institutions can get involved, the more distributed the network will be, the higher security of the network will be, and the more equitable it will be for everyone. Basically, when it comes down to it, I just want to see the transition costs be as painless as possible. And so, as you think about terms of risk, I encourage you to think of it as a form of insurance policy, and that basically, if you think of Bitcoin as fire insurance, as you divert capital away from open systems into this closed system, what you're basically doing is you're pouring kerosene on the house when you buy it. When you move energy, when you move economic energy away from open systems and into the closed system, away from the metaphorical planets and into the black hole, what you're doing is you're increasing the systemic risk of the system that's left. You're increasing the probability of default in bonds. And so basically, the more Bitcoin you buy, the lower you put yourself at risk, because you're taking risk off the table. You're moving capital out of an open system that's going to degrade as a function of time, and you're moving it into a system that is closed and thermodynamically sound. But as you do that, you put greater risk on everything else. So let's say, for example, you move 1% of your capital over to Bitcoin. All you've done now is, yes, you've decreased your total portfolio risk, but you've increased the risk of the remaining 99% of your portfolio. The decreasing risk of this 1% allocation outpaces the increased risk of this 99%, but you quickly realize that there's no reason to stop at just 1%, because all you're doing is increasing your risk. As you buy fire insurance, you're pouring kerosene on the fundamental risks of everything else you own. And this is why it will win. This is horribly misunderstood by people today. This is basically the realization that causes people to take very large percentage allocations of Bitcoin. I, at one point obviously had a 0% allocation to Bitcoin, and now today's a far higher allocation, and I hope for that allocation to only go up over time. And so this is why Bitcoin will win. It's in everyone's self-interest. The best way to decrease your risk against artificial intelligence and infinite amounts of energy and infinite amounts of gold being mined and infinite inflation and all these other factors, the best way for you to protect yourself is to allocate at least some percentage of your assets to a finite system. Everyone needs to preserve purchasing power in a monetary sense. Every company needs to arbitrage energy from a viewpoint of storing energy, but in both terms of electricity and capital. And every nation needs to have a brute force physical cost on other nations as a matter of national security, as a matter for their political and economic interests, as a form of weapon. Bitcoin is all three of these. All three of these systems reinforce each other in a constant feedback loop. It is perfect game theory. And so my 5 practical steps I encourage you to take is, first, to get off zero. Again, even if you're just buying
Otis just said that. You're a prophet, Otis. You just said it. It's crazy.
a few dollars worth, buy $10 worth, $50 worth, $100 worth, whatever you can. Just get off zero, enough to at least protect yourself and to take an interest in starting to learn more. And make sure that you're storing your Bitcoin properly and not in a place that is high risk. All it takes is a few large entities to get enough leverage to start transitioning. All it takes is a few more companies or a few countries to really get going and issuing infinite amount of stock, infinite amount of bonds, infinite amount of cash, and suck up the remaining Bitcoin on the market, like I was discussing earlier. And then my second encouragement to start thinking about this as soon as possible. Watch this video, take a look at what these folks like Michael Saylor, Samson Mow, or the hundreds of other Bitcoiners online have to say about this, and you can get really deep into the technical aspects of the system and understanding why everything that I'm describing here is the case. My encouragement is don't be in the last 80% to start thinking, as you'll have to start anew in the new system. Again, think of the farmer to industry metaphor here. If you're a farmer that is in the early days moving away from farming into industry, you're going to have a lot easier time than the vast majority of people that wait until the very last second to move over. They are going to have the most challenges to face as they transition. And so my third encouragement would be, over time, once you've gotten to zero, once you continue to increase your understanding of the system transition here, that you eventually only own assets as a strategy to acquire more Bitcoin. And that sounds strange to people today, but that's basically what we're looking at here. Instead of the current world where you acquire as much cash as possible for the end goal of acquiring as many assets as possible, now we're transitioning to the world where the only reason to own assets is to increase the amount of money you have, or to hedge against Bitcoin on the probability of an incorrect assumption. So, and then also over time, increase your security, continue to remove your Bitcoin, other assets from exchanges, and just improve your general understanding of the topics. The fourth and perhaps the most important step, besides getting off zero, is to train your brain to transition to the new paradigm. Whenever we have new technology or new ways of thinking, brains take dozens, hundreds, even thousands of hours of training to think in the new framework of the new model, of the new system. Again, thinking of the world through the lens of the horse versus the lens of the locomotive are two entirely different worlds here. If you focus on signal within the
Boom. Study. You got to study, because again, we were taught for years about the old system, and we're still in the old system. We get paid in the old system. We pay our bills with the old system. We buy things with the old system. We look through the lens of the old system, but you have to step out of this old system and get into the new system, then the new paradigm. Can you imagine if 10% of people in North America got off zero? Yeah. But here's the thing, Otis, that's true. But like George says, we got to turn that green light on, right? There's a lot of people that have Bitcoin, Otis, right? There is. I know people that have Bitcoin. I have quote unquote orange pills from people. I'm sure you have too. But if they don't understand what they have, who cares? Right? Again, it takes a very special breed to be like us, right? Again, they're going to be making fun of us. Oh, you're lucky and blah, 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 blah. But again, when you see a professional athlete or somebody at the top of their field or whatever, boxer, teacher, anybody, what do? They work their ass off and study their craft. And that's what we're doing right now. This is fun for us. They're going to sell it when it goes to 200K. Exactly. Because they don't know what they have. They don't understand the volatility. They might sell if it goes to 77. Oh my God, I bought it at 83. It sold at 77. But we know better. We love the volatility. We wanted it to go down to 77,000 today. Why? Because we get more sats, right? Scorpion, Metallica, I use River app. Yeah. I use Strike. There's all kind of ones you can use, right? But again, the most important thing, that's why I say is study. You got to keep studying this new system. Study the old system too and know why it's broken. And they say, wait a minute, inflation is money printing? Wait a minute. They do fractional reserve bankings at my bank? Wait a minute, my dollars are not in the bank? And once you understand that, then you look into the new system like, wait a minute, this is a closed system with Satoshis and Bitcoin? That's crazy. Right to BlackRock strategy, yep. Yeah, you literally have to rewire your brain. Exactly. Absolutely. Sharpen the sword. This is why Sailor is burning his Bitcoin when he dies. Yep. To help Bitcoiners, those who has the guts, studied and conviction to be on it. Yeah. Conviction to be on it. Yes. Then it's easy and obvious, right? But you got to put the initial work in, right? And not only you have to work on yourself learning, because again, I'm not a master at this, right? It took me almost 2 years when I watched this video in early 2022, because I got in February 2021, early 2023, excuse me. When I got in February 2021, that was almost 2 years till I had all this precious metals because I didn't put in the work, enough work. Scorpion, both Jerry and I have referral links. Jerry's got the Strike and I've got the River. Yeah. So I'll hook you up. Did he ask a question? Scorpion, did I miss your question, Scorpion? Did you say where you buy? I got you. I sent him some stuff. But yeah, we just got to keep studying, man. This is why I like this video so much.
No way to focus on what Bitcoin is doing and how Bitcoin is transforming technology and how technology is transforming the world. You can cut through the noise of news, headlines, and articles, and media, and fear, and doubt, and all these scary things that it's just trying to get your attention as the system continues to decline.
And that's exactly why the mainstream media does it, right? They do it and give out the FUD because they know 99% of people don't even know what Bitcoin is, and even some of the not most, but some of the people that have it don't understand it. So all they say is, oh, Bitcoin's bad, Bitcoin's evil, Bitcoin's this. And they'll just say it on TV. And because they didn't put any work in, they sell it. And that's why they do it on purpose. And then guess who turns around and buys it? BlackRock.
Polarization will go up, economic instability will increase, and chaos, unfortunately, will continue as the system degrades. The remaining powers within the current system will become more desperate to retain what diminishing influence they have left. It will almost certainly only get worse until the new system has superseded. Again, think of horses versus locomotives. As the locomotive begins to take economic precedence, all the incumbents, all the remaining powers of the horse, all the titans of industry in this dying industry are going to become more desperate and more reckless and more eager to get your attention and cause noise in the signal that is simply that the train is coming and it's causing a revolution. So I encourage you to just transition your brain to the new paradigm.
A guy asked George, would he sell at 1 million? George said, no, I agree. What about you, Jerry? Why or why not? Absolutely not. No. Because what am I going to do with $1 million? Right? What am I going to do with it? I know that even if I had, now let's put a caveat on this, Otis. Let's say, because I am a millionaire in Satoshis, right? So let's say I had 1 million Satoshis. Okay, that's it. That's all I had. And they offered me $1 million for it, but they said the only thing is you could never buy Bitcoin again. I would not do it. Now, if they said, yeah, we'll give you $1 million for it, sure, I grab it and then sell it and buy some more Bitcoin. Yeah, I'd do that in a heartbeat. But they told me I could never buy Bitcoin again. No, because my Satoshis are going to be worth more than those US dollars. They're always going to lose purchasing power, and my Satoshis are always going to gain in purchasing power. And that's the new system. So I'd be a very selfish person because, again, I'm 50 years old. I probably won't benefit a lot off this. I'm just not. But I got grandkids, so I'm going to pass this stuff down to my grandkids. Can you imagine if I only got $1 million? First of all, what am I going to buy with $1 million? Let's say I buy a house or whatever. Okay, I can pass them down to the house, but then they got to pay all the utilities and everything else. I want to pass down something solid, the most precious asset in the world. Nobody's more important to me than my family, right? So I'm going to give them the best. I would never give them no house or nothing like that. I'm going to give them the most precious asset in the world, and that's Satoshis. That's a good question. Luke Bowles is rambling. Lime you? No wonder you like his vids. Get to the effing point. HELL sticks. What is lime, the troll? I don't need more fiat. Exactly. Forgot I said that. Gonna clip it now. Yep. You're not a millionaire in nothing but calories. Okay. Hey, I had to work hard for them. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Me too. Amazing. Yeah. Thanks, Otis. It's just, when you understand and we know, Otis. You know what I'm saying? And these people out here like, oh, I'd buy it. There was no way in heck. I mean, it's so hard for me, Otis, to hold dollars now that I know what this system is. You know what I mean? That's why I buy every hour on the hour. If you guys want to learn how to do that, go to my link in Strike, sign up. You get your first $500 of buys for free. And then after you do a DCA after the first week on the 8th day, you'll get free fees from now on if you do a DCA. And I buy every hour on the hour. I've been on here since 4 o'clock, and I'm getting ready to do my third buy, right? Even if it's 50 cents, a dime, I don't care. 100 Satoshis here, 200 Satoshis there. It's all going to add up. Because, again, it's a piece of the finite pie. I need you guys to understand that. Anybody out there that's new that don't understand, I don't care if 100 sats is only 8 or 9 cents. It's a piece of the finite pie. Okay. And people are going to be struggling to get this. You're going to be more, if you're buying now, and in 2 and 3 years, when these businesses come in behind you, the only thing that you got ahead of them is you got the time ahead of them and you bought more Satoshis than they did at a much, much cheaper price. They're going to be paying when it's at $1 million, they're going to be paying a lot of money for a Satoshi. You know what I mean? A lot more money, a lot more cash than they are now. So yeah, exactly. Me too, bro. Let's keep going. Good question, Otis.
And keep in mind, Bitcoin will always be volatile. It's always going to alternate between ripping upwards and price spikes that will melt most people's faces off, and then crashing downwards forever that cause massive amounts of depression and pain in people. This is pretty much how it's exactly going to go. The idea of Bitcoin being a stable system that's going to be, or stable in terms of prices, that's going to be consistent with all these other assets, is simply not going to work, because all these other assets are all components of a system that is open versus a closed system. And again, I was speaking earlier, these inherently are going to be different. And so hearing the noise, the technological, hearing the signal of the shift that is Bitcoin cuts through the noise of the dying system. And so that's my biggest encouragement. Once you understand this, 95% of all the noise and all the chaos in the current world just fades away, because it makes so much more sense.
The reason why Bitcoin has changed your life because you figured it out, right? You understand what it is. 99% of the people haven't figured it out. All the energy and all the fiat and all this other stuff is coming into this network, into this closed system, and you're ahead of the game. Get as many Satoshis as you can.
What's really going on here. And then my fifth step is just to be thankful. You know, a lot of people have regret that they didn't buy Bitcoin earlier, or it becomes clear to them that they should have been thinking about this critically earlier. And my encouragement is, be patient, it's okay, and be thankful. It takes time for people to understand. We want this transition to take a long period of time, but I know realistically it probably won't, but that's what I would prefer, even though that's probably not what's going to happen. It gives us as much time as possible before big players get involved and before Bitcoin gets on a major rally here. I'm happy, frankly, that Bitcoin is down in price and that it's not very popular right now. It gives me time to buy as much as possible. It gives me as much time as possible to warn people, encourage people to start learning about this. So at the end of the day, I encourage you, please get off zero for yourself and for your family. Share these ideas.
Get off zero, the troll. Get off zero. Thank God I'm not operating heavy machinery while I'm listening to Bow. I don't know who Bow is. 21 million-ish and 8 billion. Yeah, exactly. And it ain't 21 million, Otis. We know that, right? Satoshi Nakamoto's got 1 million that's never come out. 3, 4, 5 million, however, has been lost. I'm not selling mine. You're not selling yours. Nobody on here is probably not going to sell a lot, maybe a little piece here and there. Oh my goodness.
Share this video with your loved ones or others if it's making sense to you. The best way to think about it is that, this horse is our current system. This is our current paradigm of creating as much cash as possible to chase as many assets as possible and basically leave one ship that's sinking quickly for an alternate ship that's sinking a little slower. And we think we're doing a good job because our horses are stronger or faster, or they're better looking, or whatever metric we value our horse by. We think that our system works all right. We think that we get around fast enough and that the world is sufficient. But the whole idea of Bitcoin here is that there is another system coming here. That if you're thinking within the horse, you aren't ready for the locomotive that's coming for it, and it's not even going to be a fight. You have this system of bonds and stocks and credit and debt and cash, and the world that we understand today, where we have a variety of open systems and we diversify ourselves among these open systems. And now we have instead this closed system that is Bitcoin, and it's not even going to be a competition. It is there's nothing yet in human history to compare it to, this mechanical energy in comparison to this biological energy. And my encouragement is that you get off zero and understand that whether you like it or not, this is coming. Whether you like it or not, technology is just going to get faster. And the best way to prepare for it, the best way to prepare for an infinite world, is to buy some portion of a finite money that infinite world will be priced into. So please share this video with others, and as soon as possible, get off zero.
Boom. Wow. Crazy, man. Get off zero, the troll. How y'all going to trust Bitcoin when it comes from a ninja living in a cave, according to that documentary? I got a better chance trusting a hobo than a cave dweller. Okay, man. Get off zero, man. Get off zero, the troll. Get 1 million Satoshis. All right, let's do some spins here, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to call it a night. Incredible video, man. That video changed my life. It really did, man. So the last spin we did was 793. So we're going to do 794, 795, 796, 797, 798, 799. Otis, I put your name in the thing, my brother. Let's go. Good luck. Well, congratulations, sir. It's for block 795. Congrats, yes. Corey. I know Corey's here. I ain't got to worry about that. Very close. The rich get richer. Yeah. Rich get richer. 796. $1.52. Congratulations, my dear friend. $7.97. Your grandkids are gonna love you for this. Send it to the kid. Okay. Send it to Aiden. Okay. Aiden. The guy with the Mercedes, yes. Damon, what's up, my brother? You still here? I know you work tonight. You're cross town for me. $7.98. I gotta meet up with Damon. Buck. Buck, you want to give it to one of the ladies or the young man Aiden? Otis. To the kid, okay. Aiden. To the kid, cool. Congratulations, Otis. All right. Any more blocks come out? Nope, we're all caught up. Oh, all right, guys. There we have it. A little over 3 hours again. Otis, let me know what you want me to do with your sats, my friend. If you want them, just give me a send mine to Aiden as well, please. Okay. Thank you. Wow. Aiden's cleaned up. I owe him 300. The troll. I wonder who has been delivering pizzas while you were during these lives this week. While I was delivering pizzas, because that's what it looks like. It sounds like. The troll. You might want to work on your grammar. Just saying. Aiden. Okay. Wow. Aiden's got 400 coming to him. Thank you, guys. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. I love each and every one of you. You know that. We're just learning together. We're riding and gliding along this timeline, man. It's an incredible timeline we're on, right? Lily, damn, I better go pamper my wife. We're gliding along this crazy timeline. You know, when you look back at these days, because we're going to be very, very rich. These are the good old days, guys. Whether you know that or not, right now is the good old days. And unfortunately, no problem, Sin. And unfortunately, we're in a large debt on the national level here in the United States of America. And you got MicroStrategy and all these companies doing a strategic, reserve. And we need to make our own reserve, right? Don't worry about this debt. We're not going to be in debt, that's for sure. And if the bill does come down to our grandkids or whatever, and they don't pay it off in the future, and the inflation doesn't go down, we're going to make sure that by stacking these Satoshis and learning, thank you, man. You are too, brother. And learning about this incredible technology, this incredible savings technology right now is going to be a store of value soon. It will be, and it will be the global reserve currency. It may not happen in our lifetime, but as men, we do have children and grandchildren, and we got to make sure we do the best we can to take care of them. And the only way we're going to pay off that national debt and to get this inflation down is studying, learning, and stacking the hardest money that man has ever seen. And if you've been paying attention, I'm pretty sure you guys already know what that is. It's the best way to save. And for me, the only way to save. And that's Bitcoin. Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much. And I love each and every one of you. And I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love, guys.